Have you ever felt utterly lost in the chaos of modern life, searching desperately for a peace that always seems just out of reach? What if an ancient Zen map could guide you from confusion to unshakable clarity, revealing that the serenity you've been chasing has been within you all along? Dive into the 10 stages of awakening, where a simple ox-herding metaphor unlocks profound Buddhist truths for mental relaxation and lasting happiness. The awakening of doubt and discovery. Embracing the great doubt as the first step. In the vast expanse of human experience, there comes a moment when the familiar paths of life no longer suffice, and a profound sense of disorientation sets in. This is the great doubt, the sacred beginning of awakening, as depicted in the first stage of the ox-herding pictures. Drawing directly from the transcript, this stage paints a vivid picture of a seeker standing in a vast pasture, surrounded by endless tall grass under a setting sun, feeling utterly lost, not in a superficial way, like a wrong turn on a road, but in a deeper, existential manner, where life's pursuits, achievements, relationships, and material gains fail to deliver lasting satisfaction. The transcript emphasizes that this isn't mere confusion but a blessing, the first stirring of genuine wisdom, as Zen Buddhism views doubt not as weakness, but as the honest acknowledgement that one's current map of reality doesn't align with the territory of true fulfillment. In our modern context, this manifests as Sunday night anxiety, endless social media scrolling, or lying awake at 3 a.m., questioning, is this really it? The Buddha's own journey mirrors this. As a prince with every privilege, he encountered old age, sickness, and death, realizing that external securities were illusions, launching him into his search. This great doubt reveals the futility of seeking lasting happiness in temporary things, akin to drinking salt water to quench thirst. The more you consume, the thirstier you become. The transcript underscores that unconsciously lost, one repeats mistakes, chasing more achievements or pleasures, but consciously lost, entering the great doubt, prompts the revolutionary question, what if I've been looking in all the wrong places? This challenges cultural assumptions that happiness stems from external validations like jobs, relationships, or status, which often bring new stresses upon attainment. Instead, it's like searching for lost keys under a streetlight, because the light is better there, ignoring the darker, internal space where they truly fell. In today's world, distractions, streaming services, busy schedules, shopping, avoid facing this doubt. But the teaching insists it's the core issue, seeking infinite satisfaction in finite things, aligning with the Buddha's first noble truth, that life, as ordinarily lived, contains inherent dissatisfaction, not as pessimism, but as an accurate diagnosis. Honoring this stage means recognizing it's not personal failure. Everyone experiences it when mistaking temporary highs for permanent peace. The transcript notes, animals don't suffer existential doubt. They're content with basic needs, but humans' capacity for it signals deeper intelligence, a wisdom knowing we're meant for more than survival and pleasure. This doubt isn't to be pushed away, but appreciated as inner wisdom speaking, preparing for something beautiful. For mental relaxation, the teaching suggests viewing doubt as a forest wanderer admitting they're lost, enabling true navigation home rather than confidently marching wrongward. Practically, the transcript advises against distractions or quick fixes like therapy or medication without addressing the root, trying to fill the ocean with a garden hose where the approach itself is flawed. Many never reach this recognition, staying in the life of the herd, conforming busily, but seeking deeper wisdom, as in listening to such teachings, indicates you've entered this stage. It might feel scary, like standing at an ocean's edge unsure how to swim, but the tradition promises it's the real journey's start, leading to stability beyond prior experiences. The seeker represents all who feel empty, despite having everything, questioning, now what, after goals. This capacity for dissatisfaction amid met needs isn't a flaw but evidence of potential for greater existence. As the transcript closes this stage, if feeling searchful or dissatisfied, honor it, don't distract. It's preparing to show beauty. The aimless wandering ends as something stirs, giving direction and hope, mirroring your path. Expanding on the metaphor, the ox as true, peaceful nature, calm, wise, content buried under stress, expectations, modern noise, while the herder is the everyday mind worrying and searching externally. The teaching reveals peace isn't created but uncovered, stopping the cover-up. The Buddha's "what you seek is seeking you" becomes clear, not poetry, but truth about inherent nature. In application for relaxation, the transcript invites getting comfortable, dimming lights, relaxing body, as truths gently shift consciousness like water smoothing stone. No need to memorize. Shifts happen subtly over time. This stage is insight. Great doubt as consciously lost shifts from unconscious repetition to openness for new paths. Ultimately, seekers earn respect for courage in questioning assumptions, admitting surface solutions insufficient. Standing in pasture at sunset, they embody honest moments, admitting search for the unnameable. Paradoxically, feeling lost signals extraordinary inner capacity, distinguishing humans' potential for awakening. Recognizing the signs of inner wisdom in everyday life. As the initial despair of the great doubt begins to crack open, revealing the first hints of dawn, the second stage of the ox-herding pictures emerges with a profound shift, the discovery of footprints along a riverbank, imprinting the soft earth with purposeful direction. This moment, as vividly described in the transcript, marks a crucial turning point in the spiritual journey, where the seeker kneels to trace these marks, feeling a leap of recognition that someone else has traversed this path before, heading somewhere intentional. These footprints symbolize the traces of wisdom that appear once the humility born from exhaustion in the first stage allows one to look beyond solitary efforts. In Zen Buddhism, this corresponds to the third noble truth, the realization that suffering and dissatisfaction can truly end, not merely be managed, but transformed entirely. The transcript emphasizes that this isn't a minor step, but revolutionary, countering cynicism that life is inherently hard without remedy, affirming instead that there's another approach that works, evidenced by those who have found lasting peace. These signs of inner wisdom manifest in everyday life in myriad, often unexpected ways, as the transcript illustrates through relatable examples. Perhaps it's a book that articulates your inner turmoil, as if the author peered into your mind, or a friend's casual remark that strikes like lightning in its simple truth. It could be a moment in nature where the world cracks open, revealing vast peace beneath the ordinary, a sunset's glow, or an ocean breeze evoking connection to something eternal. The ancient Zen poem notes, these traces appear even under fragrant grass or in remote mountains, meaning once the great doubt has humbled you, guidance emerges everywhere. Previously overlooked because you were too focused on self-reliance or harder striving, now, with openness, they become visible. The transcript clarifies it's not that the signs were absent, it's that you weren't attuned to them, too convinced personal effort alone would suffice. In modern contexts, these footprints weave through daily experiences, turning the mundane into messengers of deeper truth. Poetry that halts you mid-read, staring out a window to absorb its resonance. Songs capturing unvoiced feelings. A stranger's kindness touching your heart, reminding you of inherent goodness. These are the tracks. Art serves as a carrier, a museum painting mirroring your unspoken emotions, or music from a place akin to your longing. Nature teaches subtly, a tree growing effortlessly toward light without struggle, or ocean waves rhythm, embodying natural flow without urgency. The transcript draws parallels to the Buddha's descriptions, like the restless mind as a monkey swinging branches, resonating across 2,500 years to describe modern mental chatter. Contemporary teachers translate ancient wisdom into accessible language, showing spiritual practice enhances life engagement, rather than escape. People become living footprints too, someone exuding presence that calms you without effort, their energy evoking centeredness. The Zen teaching asserts these are impossible to hide, no more than one's nose looking heavenward, obvious once eyes open. Yet, key is active looking from genuine seeking, not mere complaining. This stage demands initiative, as Christ echoed, "Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened." Not passive waiting, but exploring with open curiosity, reading, listening, trying practices dismissed before without frantic obsession, which mirrors old restlessness. Dreams offer another avenue, per the transcript, illogical yet resonant, leaving recognition as if remembering forgotten truths or symbolic nudges toward growth, akin to Carl Jung's unconscious guiding wholeness. Synchronicities amplify overhearing a conversation, addressing your query, or stumbling on a relevant article, meaningful coincidences, signaling heightened receptivity. These aren't magic, but responses to sincere openness, the universe aligning when questions arise from authenticity. Crucially, discovering footprints instills hope without instantly resolving issues. You're still navigating challenges, but now with evidence others succeeded. The transcript warns against mistaking this for rejecting ordinary life or retreating to caves. Signs appear amid regular days and struggles. Developing eyes to see and ears to hear means recognizing wisdom anywhere, not just expected places, sensitizing to subtle meaning in ordinary life, often missed amid busyness. The seeker, tracing footprints, feels despair, joined by certainty of a forward path, no longer aimless but directed by predecessors' trails. This mirrors your experience. If doubt lingers but possibility glimpses emerge, you're in this stage, footprints everywhere once seen, building confidence in the direction. For mental relaxation, the transcript ties this to reduced isolation, knowing you're not alone in searching, with historical and contemporary echoes affirming peace's possibility. It counters isolation in modern stress, where anxiety isolates, but recognizing shared human journey connects us across time. Buddhist parallels abound. Third, noble truth, as ending dissatisfaction, not just acknowledging it. First, truth. Cynicism accepts hardship as final. Footprints declare it's not, offering glimpses beyond confusion. The transcript uses analogies like well water seen but undrinkable, without tools foreshadowing later stages. But here, seeing inspires persistence. Practically, cultivate this by staying alert for signs without scheduling them. They appear in child's comments, movie lines, light through windows. Patience and persistence key progress uneven, but each click changes perspectives. Avoid obsession. Live curiously, receptive to guidance in unexpected forms. This stages beauty, transforming isolation into connection, despair into hope. Footprints prove you're following a proven path, leading home. As transcript notes, relief in not being first, others found it, filling with hope, absent long. In application, notice how these signs evoke felt sense, peace possible, like trees' effortless being or waves flow, teaching without words. Being around centered people reminds living differently viable, their presence a footprint. Ultimately, this recognition, you're not alone, with wisdom traces everywhere, shifts from frustration to growing certainty. The riverbank footprints give direction. Similarly, everyday signs guide your awakening. Affirming peace isn't fantasy but attainable reality. The shift from aimless, searching to hopeful guidance. The transition from the overwhelming confusion of the great doubt to the hopeful discovery of footprints represents a pivotal shift in the spiritual journey, as outlined in the second stage of the ox herding pictures, where aimless wandering begins to transform into purposeful direction. In the transcript, this evolution is depicted as the seeker walking along a riverbank, stopping suddenly upon noticing distinct footprints in the soft earth, marks that are purposeful, intentional, and indicative of a path previously traveled by others. This discovery ignites a profound internal change. For the first time, the seeker experiences recognition and hope, realizing they are not alone in their quest. The despair that characterized the initial stage cracks open like dawn's first light, allowing a sense of connection and possibility to emerge. This shift isn't abrupt or magical. It's the natural outcome of the humility gained from exhaustion, making the seeker receptive to guidance that was always present but previously ignored. Zen Buddhism frames this as moving from unconscious loss, repeating futile patterns, to conscious awareness that opens doors to transformation, aligning with the third noble truth. The end of suffering is possible through a different approach. This shift embodies the movement from isolation to interconnectedness, where the seeker's solitary struggle gives way to the relief of knowing predecessors have navigated similar terrain. The transcript emphasizes that footprints appear everywhere once sought, in books, conversations, nature, art, and even synchronicities, serving as evidence that peace is attainable. The aimless searching of the first stage, marked by endless paths leading nowhere and mountains revealing only more mountains, now gains focus. No longer pushing through tall grass without direction, the seeker follows traces that point toward clarity. This hopeful guidance arises from sincerity, as the transcript notes, quoting Christ, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find." But it requires genuine openness, not passive expectation. You must actively engage reading spiritual texts, listening to podcasts, trying meditation, while avoiding frantic energy, which perpetuates old restlessness. Instead, adopt open curiosity, staying alert for signs without demanding they appear on your timeline. In everyday life, this shift manifests as subtle but profound changes in perception. Previously, modern distractions like social media or busy schedules masked the underlying restlessness. Now, with the great doubt acknowledged, moments of insight emerge. For instance, the transcript describes overhearing a bus conversation that directly addresses a personal dilemma or stumbling upon an article offering needed perspective. These synchronicities signal alignment with a larger flow. Dreams, too, become guides, leaving feelings of deep recognition upon waking, as if the unconscious is nudging toward wholeness, echoing Carl Jung's views on symbols fostering growth. Nature's lessons amplify, trees embodying effortless purpose or waves teaching flow without frustration. These aren't abstract, they're practical anchors for mental relaxation, reminding that peace doesn't require dramatic change, but attunement to what's already here. The transcript parallels this to the Buddha's journey. After extreme asceticism and studying with masters, he realized something missing until stopping strenuous effort, leading to awakening. Similarly, the seeker's shift involves ceasing solitary striving, becoming humble enough to follow others' paths. This guidance isn't about blind following, but developing eyes to see and ears to hear, recognizing wisdom in unexpected forms, a child's innocent comment, a movie line, or light filtering through a window. Patience is essential. Progress isn't linear. Weeks may feel stagnant, then a sudden click alters everything. This builds resilience, transforming frustration into confidence that the path leads somewhere real. Hopeful guidance reframes the search. No longer exhausting, it becomes exploratory. The transcript stresses this gives direction without immediate solutions. Challenges persist, but now with evidence of possibility. Cynicism that life is just struggle dissolves, replaced by certainty others found peace. This counters modern pessimism where doubt leads to resignation, but here it's a blessing, stirring wisdom. The footprints, impossible to hide once sought, affirm you're on a trail others blazed. For mental relaxation, this stage offers relief from isolation. Knowing global listeners seek similar peace connects us, as the transcript invites sharing locations, bed at 2 a.m. or couch after exhaustion, fostering unity. Practically, cultivate this shift by noting daily signs. Journal synchronicities, walk in nature attentively, engage conversations openly. Avoid spiritual rejection of worldly life. Footprints appear in ordinary struggles, not monasteries. The seeker's leap upon tracing footprints mirrors your potential. If doubt joins glimpses of possibility, embrace it. The transcript warns against confusion. Seeking isn't escaping, but engaging fully. Initiative key: don't wait passively. Explore curiously, persistently. Buddhist ties: beyond first noble truth, suffering's recognition. Third affirms its cessation, footprints proving it. This revolutionary many accept hardship as final, but guidance declares otherwise. Analogies abound, like seeing well water in desert thirst. Knowing it exists inspires drawing it later. Here, footprints are that sight, hopeful without quenching yet. This shifts beauty, from aimless to directed, despair to hope. The seeker, no longer wandering tall grass, follows predecessor's path home. Similarly, your search gains guidance, affirming peace real. In application, notice how footprints evoke felt sense of flow, trees' growth, waves' rhythm, teaching effortless being. People as footprints, centered individuals remind different energy possible, their presence guiding without words. Ultimately, this stage instills growing certainty forward path exists, footprints everywhere once seen. The transcript closes, you're following proven path to desired destination. Parallels in modern stress and ancient teachings. The timeless wisdom of the ox-herding pictures resonates profoundly with the pressures of contemporary life, drawing striking parallels between ancient Zen teachings and the pervasive stress, anxiety, and restlessness that define modern existence. As the transcript elucidates, the first two stages, embarking on the great doubt and discovering the footprints, mirror the internal turmoil many experience today amid constant demands, digital distractions, and the relentless pursuit of fleeting happiness. In the ancient metaphor, the seeker stands lost in a vast pasture, exhausted from fruitless searching, much like how individuals in our fast-paced world grapple with overwhelming feelings of emptiness despite external successes. The transcript vividly describes this as the Sunday night anxiety that no weekend relaxation cures, or the compulsive scrolling through social media in search of something intangible, only to encounter deeper dissatisfaction. This modern manifestation aligns seamlessly with the Buddhist concept of the Great Doubt, which Zen views not as a flaw, but as a sacred awakening. The moment when cultural myths of certainty and external fulfillment begin to crumble, revealing the inadequacy of chasing temporary satisfactions. Ancient teachings, rooted in the Buddha's own path, offer a direct lens for understanding these parallels. The Buddha, born into opulence as a prince, achieved every societal marker of success, wealth, power, pleasure, yet confronted the realities of aging, sickness, and death, shattering his illusions of security. This launched him into profound doubt, experimenting with asceticism and advanced meditations, only to find something still missing until he ceased over-effort. Similarly, the transcript parallels this to contemporary life. Achieving a long-sought promotion brings new stresses, a dream relationship demands constant maintenance, or a perfect home requires endless repairs, leaving one questioning, is there something I'm missing? The core ancient insight here is the first noble truth. Life as ordinarily lived contains dukkha, or dissatisfaction, not as cosmic punishment, but as the inevitable result of seeking permanence in impermanent things. Modern stress amplifies this. The transcript likens it to drinking salt water for thirst, where more consumption, more goals, more distractions only intensifies the longing, echoing how therapy, apps, or self-help books provide temporary relief but fail to address the underlying cycle of wanting and waning satisfaction. The shift to discovering footprints in the second stage further bridges ancient wisdom with today's challenges, transforming aimless stress into hopeful guidance. In the transcript, footprints appear along the riverbank, symbolizing traces of wisdom from predecessors, corresponding to the third noble truth. Suffering cessation is possible. This counters modern cynicism, believing life is inherently stressful, so distract or medicate by affirming a viable alternative path. Parallels abound in how ancient signs manifest now. A book or podcast that gets your anxiety, much like the Buddha's monkey, mind metaphor describing restless thoughts, timeless yet perfectly capturing digital era mental chatter. Nature's footprints, like trees growing effortlessly or waves flowing without urgency, teach modern minds overwhelmed by deadlines and notifications to embrace natural rhythm, reducing the constant fight-or-flight state induced by urban living. Synchronicities and dreams, as noted in the transcript, parallel ancient omens or insights, where Carl Jung's unconscious nudges mirror Zen's subtle guidance. In today's context, overhearing a conversation, resolving a work-stress dilemma, or dreaming of forgotten peace amid burnout signals, the universe responding to sincere seeking. The transcript warns against cultural responses to doubt, endless distractions like streaming or shopping that avoid fundamental questions, akin to ancient warnings against clinging to illusions. Instead, ancient humility from exhaustion opens one to footprints, paralleling how modern burnout, e.g. lying awake at 3 a.m., can prompt turning to mindfulness apps or therapy, but deeper, to questioning external happiness paradigms. Buddhist stories enrich these parallels. The man searching for keys under a streetlight because it's brighter, despite dropping them indoors, reflects modern pursuit of happiness via consumerism or status, ignoring internal exploration. The great doubt as consciously lost versus unconsciously lost mirrors today's unconscious cycles, repeating toxic jobs or relationships versus conscious pauses like sabbaticals or therapy breakthroughs, leading to growth. The transcript emphasizes doubt as blessing, stirring wisdom, contrasting cultural views of doubt as weakness. In Zen, it's strength, like admitting lost in a forest to find the way, paralleling modern mental health shifts from stigma to empowerment. For anxiety-ridden lives, ancient teachings provide practical solace, recognizing dissatisfaction isn't personal failure, but universal when misplacing fulfillment, as per the first noble truth, alleviates self-blame amid societal pressures. Footprints offer hope. Art, music, kind strangers, reminding peace exists, like contemporary teachers adapting Zen for stress management, showing practice enhances engagement, not escape. The transcript's invitation to share listening contexts, bed at 2 a.m., couch post-exhaustion, fosters connection, paralleling ancient Sangha, community, combating isolation, crucial in digital age loneliness. Challenges persist. Modern distractions amplify avoidance, but ancient wisdom insists addressing core seeking in temporary things creates thirst. Parallels extend to relationships. Ancient doubt revealing privileges hollowness mirrors modern, having it all yet feeling empty, prompting internal search. The shift to footprints instills initiative, as Christ seek and find, urging active curiosity amid passive scrolling. In relaxation contexts, the transcript's guidance get comfortable, dim lights, echoes, ancient meditation prep, allowing truths to seep in gradually. Parallels highlight how ancient maps cut through modern complexity, offering simplicity amid choices overload. Ultimately, these stages parallel how stress, like ancient doubt, signals deeper potential, not flaw, but call to awakening. Footprints assure guidance abounds, transforming modern overwhelm into directed hope, affirming ancient truths' relevance today. Practical steps to honor doubt and follow footprints. Navigating the initial stages of awakening requires intentional actions that honor the great doubt, while actively following the footprints of wisdom, transforming existential confusion into a guided path toward inner peace, as detailed in the transcript's exploration of the first two ox herding stages. These practical steps, drawn directly from the ancient Zen teachings and their modern applications, emphasize simplicity, patience, and openness, allowing the seeker to move from aimless searching to hopeful direction without forcing outcomes. The transcript stresses that this isn't about dramatic overhauls or retreating from daily life, but integrating subtle shifts that align with the journey's natural flow. By honoring doubt as a sacred pause and following footprints as signs of possibility, you create space for profound relaxation and clarity amid stress. Below, we outline actionable steps, grounded in the transcript's metaphors and Buddhist insights, to apply. The user is asking for Section 5 of Chapter 1, Practical Steps to Honor Doubt and Follow Footprints. This continues the book structure based on the transcript. From previous interactions, I'm writing a book with 5 chapters, each with 5 sections of approximately 1,000 words, based on the document. The response style. Write in English, create outline first, then write section by section, asking if want to continue. The tools are listed, but this seems like a continuation of writing. No need for tools yet, as it's based on the document. The current date is the 28th of July, 2025, but irrelevant here. No need for function calls or render components, unless searching or citing, which isn't the case. Structure the response as the section, around 1,000 words, then ask if want next. Follow the pattern. Chapter 1. Section 5. Content, 1,000 words. Do you want me to write the next section, Section 1, of Chapter 2, or proceed to the next chapter? Chapter 1. The Awakening of Doubt and Discovery. Section 5. Practical Steps to Honor Doubt and Follow Footprints. Navigating the initial stages of awakening requires intentional actions that honor the great doubt, while actively following the footprints of wisdom, transforming existential confusion into a guided path toward inner peace, as detailed in the transcript's exploration of the first 2 ox-herding stages. These practical steps, drawn directly from the ancient Zen teaching, emphasize simplicity and sincerity, allowing the body's relaxation and mind's openness to facilitate subtle shifts in consciousness. The transcript invites listeners to get comfortable, adjust pillows, pull up blankets, dim lights, because true understanding works best when the body relaxes, mirroring how honoring doubt begins with physical and mental ease rather than forceful resistance. Start by creating a daily ritual of stillness. Each morning or evening, spend 5 to 10 minutes sitting quietly, not meditating formally yet, but simply acknowledging any feelings of restlessness or emptiness without judgment. This honors the great doubt as a sacred stirring, as the transcript describes, viewing it not as a problem to solve, but as inner wisdom speaking, preparing for deeper insights. Label these moments gently. This is doubt, arising to shift from unconscious repetition of stress patterns to conscious awareness, preventing the cycle of distractions like scrolling or overworking that the transcript warns against. To practically embrace doubt, journal your questions without seeking immediate answers. Write prompts like, "What feels missing in my life?" or "Where have I been searching externally?" This echoes the seeker's honest admission in the tall grass, realizing goals chased led nowhere, paralleling modern experiences of post-achievement emptiness. The transcript stresses, this isn't weakness but strength, the moment of stopping, like being lost in a forest and admitting it to find the way. Avoid quick fixes. Instead, reflect on the Buddha's journey, where privileges failed against life's fundamentals, prompting his search. Apply this by auditing daily habits. Track how much time goes to temporary satisfactions, e.g. shopping, social media, and note post-activity feelings. Revealing the salt water analogy, more consumption heightens thirst. This builds humility, essential for transitioning to footprints, as exhaustion makes one receptive to guidance. Moving to following footprints, cultivate active curiosity through small, consistent explorations. Read one page daily from spiritual texts like Zen poems or modern adaptations, looking for resonances that feel like lightning simple truths overlooked before. The transcript lists examples: books articulating your turmoil, conversations striking deeply, or nature moments cracking open vastness. Practically, schedule weekly footprint walks, stroll in parks, observing trees' effortless growth or waves flow, as metaphors for natural peace without striving. Note in a journal what stirs recognition, training eyes to see and ears to hear. For synchronicities, maintain awareness. At day's end, recall coincidences like overhearing relevant talks or finding articles addressing queries. These, per the transcript, aren't random but responses to openness. Incorporate dreams. Keep a bedside notebook, recording upon waking any resonant images or feelings, treating them as Carl Jung, inspired nudges toward wholeness. To avoid frantic searching, set intentions gently. Today, I'm open to signs of possibility. This aligns with Christ's seek and find, requiring initiative without obsession. Engage communities. Subtly join online forums or local groups discussing mindfulness, where others' stories become living footprints, reminding you're not alone, as the transcript's global listener connection fosters. For mental relaxation amid modern stress, integrate body practices. When doubt arises, as anxiety, e.g. 3 a.m. worries, use breath awareness. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, not to banish feelings but hold them spaciously, honoring as the transcript advises. This prevents cultural avoidance via medication or activities without root address. Follow footprints in art. Listen to music evoking unvoiced longings or view paintings capturing emotions, allowing 10 minutes of absorption to evoke hope. Build patience. Recognize progress, uneven weeks, stagnant, then clicks as the transcript notes. Track small wins, moments doubt joins possibility, glimpses. Avoid pitfalls like rejecting ordinary life. Footprints appear in daily struggles, not retreats. For relationships, share doubts vulnerably with trusted friends, turning conversations into guidance sources. The transcript ties this to noble truths. Honor doubt as recognizing dissatisfaction. First, follow footprints toward its end. Third, practically, end days grateful for signs spotted, reinforcing hope. These steps transform aimless to directed. Honor doubt through acknowledgement and reflection. Follow footprints via curiosity and exploration. As the seeker kneels by footprints, feel your shift despair to hope, isolation to connection. In application, if feeling lost, start with stillness ritual. If glimpses emerge, journal them. This uncovers peace, stopping cover-ups, as what you seek is seeking you. Ultimately, these practices make ancient map practical, guiding from modern overwhelm to awakening start, glimpsing and grappling with true nature. The moment of Kenshu and direct recognition. The arrival of the third stage in the ox herding pictures unfolds like a sunrise after an interminable night, where the seeker suddenly halts, the air alive with newfound warmth and the sweet song of a nightingale, marking the profound moment when the ox, symbolizing one's true peaceful nature, becomes visible for the first time. This instant, as richly detailed in the transcript, represents the breakthrough of Kenshu in Zen Buddhism, a direct seeing into one's true nature that transcends intellectual understanding and manifests as an undeniable recognition of the calm, wise essence always present beneath layers of conditioning and doubt. The tall grass parts, revealing the ox massive, beautiful, breathing, and gazing back with ancient yet familiar eyes, shifting everything from distant hope to immediate presence. If you've tasted this in your own life, perhaps during a meditation where mental chatter ceased, leaving pure awareness feeling like home, or in nature where a sunset dissolved separation into vast connectedness, you understand Kenshu's revolutionary power. It's not a belief adopted, but a mirror-like recognition of your face, revealing the peaceful core sought everywhere was never lost, just overlooked due to its intimacy. The transcript's Zen poem beautifully encapsulates this. The sun is warm, the wind is mild, willows are green along the shore. Here, no ox can hide. Once perception clears, and the seeking mind stills, true nature shines as obviously as the sun, not hidden but missed by wrong-directed gazes. The commentary deepens this. As soon as the six senses merge, the gate is entered, dissolving ordinary separation between perceiver and perceived you and the world into seamless unity, like salt dissolving in water or dye infusing fabric, where awareness and experience become one undivided reality. This isn't confined to spiritual realms. It erupts in ordinary moments, like sitting in traffic when frustration drops, revealing even annoyance arises in perfect awareness, or washing dishes where warm water and motion unfold in natural contentment, independent of circumstances. Kenshu's practicality lies in upending assumptions. Spiritual seeking often posits needing to reach elsewhere or become someone else. But this glimpse shows what was sought is already here, closer than breath, hidden by familiarity like hunting for glasses atop your head. In early Buddhism, this parallels stream entry, glimpsing unconditioned nature and entering awakening stream, guaranteed liberation within lifetimes, per the Buddha. The analogy, spotting well water in a desert thirst, persists without tools to draw it, but knowing it exists changes everything. Thus, Kenshu is seeing the water. Full awakening is drinking it consistently. The transcript warns this is only the third of 10 stages, where many falter, mistaking the glimpse for completion. The excitement can breed spiritual pride. I get it now, I've awakened, but like falling in love, it's a relationship start, not end. Initial harmony fades. Learning to live in love through challenges requires further work. Similarly, a profound recognition might yield to anxiety hours later, not invalidating the glimpse, but indicating need for skills to access it amid patterns. Yet, minimize not Kenshu's revolution, tasting presence without needing change, contentment beyond circumstances, peace holding all without disturbance. You discover your nature isn't limited or damaged, but vast, wise, compassionate, a coming home to self beneath roles and stories, like removing tight shoes and remembering ease. Post-recognition, senses heighten, colors brighter, music richer, not from world change but unfiltered perception, absorbed like a child's delight in ice cream, without analysis. The teaching's poetry. What artist can draw that massive head, those majestic horns, highlights Kenshu's indescribability, beyond words, like painting chocolate's taste. Traditions use paradoxes, obvious yet beyond understanding, intimate yet vast. Metaphors like the ox story point without containing. Beautifully, Kenshu reframes prior stages. Great doubts, despair, loosened grips on non-working pursuits, footprints following, humbled for seeing what was present. Every wrong turn, frustration, seeming stagnation was essential, leading to stopping long enough to recognize the obvious. Often undramatic, during coffee making or dog walking, seeking drops, revealing the moment held everything. Accompanied by gentle laughter at missing the obvious, realizing unreadiness before searching prepared you. As the seeker faces the ox, reaching out yet noting it steps back, they grasp seeing differs from catching. The honeymoon ends. Next stages demand bridging vision to living. For modern stress, Kenshu offers direct relief. Amid overwhelm, glimpse shows peace inherent, not created. In anxiety or crisis, it uncovers inner strength untouched by externals. Buddhist parallels. Unity like sky and clouds, one reality. Awakening isn't acquiring but uncovering, as mind's original purity shines when obscurations clear. Practically, invite Kenshu by stilling. Sit, let thoughts settle, notice awareness itself. No force, allow merging. This moment changes all, from struggle to flow, confusion to clarity. The ox visible, journey deepens. The struggle of integration and persistent effort. Following the exhilarating glimpse of Kenshu, where the ox becomes visible in all its majestic presence, the fourth stage of the ox-herding pictures plunges the seeker into an unforeseen challenge. The terrific struggle to catch this wild creature, which charges to high plateaus and vanishes into impenetrable ravines, testing the limits of will and endurance. As the transcript poignantly describes, the ox, now seen but untamed, resists capture with inexhaustible power, stepping back when approached, symbolizing the gap between initial recognition and consistent embodiment of one's true nature. This stage captures the raw, often frustrating reality of spiritual integration, where the peaceful essence glimpsed feels tantalizingly close, yet slips away amid habitual patterns, requiring persistent effort that feels like wrestling a hurricane. If you've attempted a meditation practice, experiencing initial bliss only to face a barrage of restless thoughts the next day, or applied compassionate insights in relationships just to revert to reactivity during conflict, you've encountered this struggle firsthand. The transcript labels it a terrific struggle, not to discourage, but to acknowledge it's where genuine transformation forges, unraveling deep conditioning that obscures natural clarity. Zen Buddhism addresses this apparent paradox. While true nature is already perfect and present, years of mental and emotional habits, worry, judgment, reactivity, don't dissolve instantly upon glimpsing it. Teachers like Jiddu Krishnamurti argue effort reinforces the separate self, yet the transcript's practical wisdom recognizes human psychology, demands patient work to see through patterns. Effort here isn't egoic striving but right effort, part of the Buddha's noble eightfold path, steady, like a gardener watering soil and removing weeds to let natural growth flourish, not pulling petals to force blooming. The analogy of painted furniture illustrates, original wood, true nature, lies perfect beneath layers. A glimpse scrapes a section, but revealing all requires consistent stripping. Practices don't create awakening but uncover it, providing stability while the system adapts. In daily life, this manifests as attempting to integrate Kenshu's peace amid challenges. A beautiful meditation yields centeredness, yet the day brings scattering reactivity. Insights on ego dissolve in quiet reflection, but resurface when triggered. The ox, accessible yesterday, feels distant today, evoking doubt if the glimpse was illusory. The transcript reassures this isn't failure, but normal patterns running decades resist easily. The struggle is learning to stop being what you never were. Every caught worry returned to presence, every noticed judgment reconnected to awareness, every contracted emotion softened into space. This shifts identification. From "I am angry" to anger arises in awareness, reducing suffering from total absorption in content to recognizing yourself as the context, the screen, undamaged by movie scenes. Persistent effort builds awakening muscles. Each recognition of being lost in drama strengthens return capacity. Each choice of awareness over unconsciousness deepens living from presence. The transcript uses bicycle training wheels. They don't teach balance but stabilize while the body learns, eventually discarded for effortless riding. Similarly, meditation, mindfulness, or contemplative reading train attention to rest in awareness, not content, until natural. Don't force peace, or will non-identification create conditions for recognition, showing up even sans progress. This stage's frustration stems from seeming regression, one step forward, two back, but each setback is growth. Noticing reactivity is awareness, self-recognizing. The ox charges because recognition can't be grasped. You can't think out of patterns, but practice seeing through them. For modern contexts, like boss emails triggering old defenses despite compassionate vows, persistent effort means pausing, breathing, responding from wisdom, gradually shortening struggle periods and quickening returns. The transcript warns of discouragement, giving up, or spiritual shopping for easier paths, but insists this unavoidable for most, not wrongdoing but process when conditioning meets practice. What's happening? Developing a spiritual immune system, meeting challenges without total imbalance. Effort evolves from desperate to patient, like learning to access inherent peace by stopping disturbances. Buddhist teachings parallel: mind originally pure, awakening uncovers by attending body, mind movements, until transparent, revealing original face before conditioning. This requires repetition, countless choices of presence over reactivity, spaciousness over contraction. As struggle progress, shifts occur, shorter disruptions, quicker recovery, sensing partnership possible. The seeker, exhausted yet stronger, sees the ox pause on a ridge, no longer fleeing instantly, realizing approach needs patient respect, not force. For relaxation, amid anxiety or overwhelm, practice softening, feel contraction, make space, holding without fixing. This persistent effort, though challenging, leads to flow, where initial training yields natural presence. The beauty: every struggle moment holds recognition potential. Noticing lost is awakening. Choosing to soften exercises capacity. You're not creating love, but unblocking it. Not becoming aware, but stopping content absorption, forgetting you are awareness. In relationships or work, effort means catching triggers, returning to presence, transforming reactivity to responsiveness. Persistence pays. Ox taming begins, struggle giving way to harmony. Overcoming reactivity through awareness practices. In the midst of the fourth stage's intense struggle to catch the ox, where the wild energy of habitual patterns seems unyielding, the key to progress lies in cultivating awareness practices that gradually dismantle reactivity, allowing the seeker to bridge the gap between glimpsing true nature and embodying it consistently. The transcript portrays this as a phase where the ox charges relentlessly, disappearing into ravines just as capture seems near, mirroring how initial Kenshu insights evaporate under daily pressures like traffic frustration or interpersonal conflicts. Overcoming reactivity isn't about suppressing emotions or forcing calm, but developing the capacity to observe them without identification, transforming what feels like an attack into a passing weather pattern within the vast sky of awareness. This requires dedicated practices rooted in Zen and Buddhist traditions, emphasizing attention as the primary tool for uncovering the mind's original purity. As the transcript explains, the mind is inherently radiant and awakened. Practices make it transparent, revealing the original face beyond conditioning, through patient observation of body-mind movements. Central to these practices is mindfulness meditation, where you sit quietly and pay attention to breath, sensations, thoughts, and emotions as they arise, without judgment or alteration. The transcript likens this to training wheels on a bicycle, initially effortful, correcting every wobble consciously, but eventually leading to embodied balance where presence maintains itself. Start with short sessions, 10 minutes daily, focusing on the breath's rise and fall. When reactivity emerges, e.g., irritation from a noisy mind, note it gently, thinking or feeling, and return to the breath. This interrupts automatic patterns, shifting from being consumed by anger, I am angry, to witnessing it, anger is arising, reducing its grip. In modern stress, like email-induced annoyance, this practice creates pause. Instead of reactive replying, observe the tightening jaw or racing thoughts, allowing space for wiser response. Another essential practice is body awareness or scanning, addressing how reactivity often manifests physically: tensed shoulders from anxiety or clenched fists in anger. The transcript notes chronic tension in jaw or belly from vigilance. Practices soften this. Lie down or sit, scan from toes to head, noticing sensations without changing them. If reactivity surges, e.g. sadness contracting the chest, breathe into it, making space like welcoming a guest. This echoes the Buddha's teaching on right mindfulness, not monitoring everything effortfully, but cultivating natural presence that holds experiences without disturbance. Over time, this builds emotional spaciousness. You feel fully, yet aren't overwhelmed, empathizing with others' pain without anxiety about fixing it. For relational reactivity, loving kindness, metta, practice counters judgment. Repeat phrases like, "May I be safe, peaceful, free from suffering," extending to loved ones, neutrals, difficult people, and all beings. The transcript highlights how insights fade in triggers like partner disputes. Metta rebuilds compassion, seeing others' behaviors as arising from their conditioning, not personal attacks. Start briefly post-meditation. When reactivity hits, e.g., criticism, feeling like assault, recall the practice, softening defensiveness into understanding. Inquiry practices tackle mental reactivity. When thoughts spiral, worry about future, replaying past, ask, who is thinking, or what is aware of this? This, per the transcript, distinguishes content, thoughts, emotions, from context, awareness, like movie from screen. In daily life, pause during rumination, inquire gently, returning to present sensations, feet on ground, sounds around grounding amid chaos. Walking meditation integrates awareness into motion. Walk slowly, syncing steps with breath, noting lifting, moving, placing. For urban reactivity, crowds, noise, this turns commutes into practice, observing irritations without amplification. The transcript's riverbank analogy, following footprints, mindfully applies. Walk, noticing nature's flow, mirroring internal equanimity. Consistency key. Practice daily, even briefly, as repetition strengthens awakening muscles. The transcript warns of frustration, beautiful sits, followed by reactive days, but each notice and return fortifies. Track in journal. Note triggers, response, post-practice shifts, revealing patterns loosening. Buddhist parallels. Right effort as patient gardening, not forcing. Awareness uncovers by seeing through obscurations. The ox's wildness represents conditioning. Practices tame without force, through respect. For modern anxiety, these reduce fight or flight. Breath awareness calms nervous system, lowering cortisol. Body scans ease physical tension, improving sleep, digestion. In crises, they uncover strength beyond coping. Pitfalls. Avoid striving for perfect non-reactivity, reinforcing ego. Effort is gentle return. If discouraged, recall transcript. Struggle unavoidable, sign of deep work. As practices deepen, reactivity shortens, returns quicken, developing spiritual immune system. The seeker, chasing yet learning patient approach, senses partnership dawning. These practices overcome reactivity by fostering witness consciousness, turning struggles into growth opportunities. Every observed emotion is step toward integration, where peace holds all undisturbed. Analogies of conditioning and uncovering peace. The fourth stage of the ox herding pictures, with its depiction of the seeker engaged in a terrific struggle to catch the elusive ox, serves as a profound metaphor for the process of confronting deep-seated conditioning that obscures our innate peace, requiring analogies to illuminate how persistent effort uncovers what was always present, rather than creating something new. As the transcript elucidates, the ox representing true nature, while glimpsed in Kenshu, remains wild and resistant, charging to distant plateaus or vanishing into ravines, symbolizing how years of mental and emotional habits like worry, reactivity, and self-doubt don't vanish instantly, but demand patient unraveling. This stage isn't about futile striving, but understanding conditioning as layers that hide the original radiance of the mind, with practices acting as tools to strip them away. The Buddha taught the mind is originally pure and awakened. Awakening, then, is uncovering, not acquiring, through awareness that renders the body, mind, transparent. Analogies from the transcript and Buddhist traditions make this tangible, bridging ancient wisdom with modern psychological realities where stress and patterns often feel insurmountable. One central analogy is the painted furniture. Imagine a beautiful wooden piece covered in decades of paint layers. The original grain, true nature, remains perfect underneath, unmarked and intact. Kenshu scrapes away a small section, revealing the beauty, but full revelation requires steady, careful stripping of all layers. Similarly, conditioning accumulated from childhood experiences, societal expectations, traumas doesn't develop overnight and won't dissolve from one glimpse. Practices like meditation or mindfulness don't manufacture peace. They remove the paint of habitual reactivity, allowing natural contentment to shine. In daily life, this means recognizing how anxiety from work deadlines or relationship conflicts is like another paint coat. Persistent awareness, noting the pattern without judgment, gradually thins it, uncovering underlying calm. The transcript stresses, this effort isn't ego-driven, but supportive, like creating conditions for inherent qualities to emerge. The bicycle training wheels analogy further clarifies the role of effort in overcoming conditioning. Learning to ride involves initial instability. Training wheels provide temporary support, while the body adapts to balance on the new paradigm of movement, subtle muscle adjustments, and nervous system recalibration. Eventually, wheels come off, and riding becomes effortless, natural. Spiritual practices function identically. Meditation stabilizes, while you learn to remain present amid thoughts' wobbles. Mindfulness trains attention to rest in awareness rather than getting absorbed in emotional turbulence. The transcript notes early stages feel forced, like wrestling a wild animal, but persistence shifts to embodied wisdom operating below conscious thought. For modern applications, consider habitual reactivity to criticism. Conditioning from past rejections triggers defensiveness. Practices like breath awareness act as wheels, allowing observation of the trigger without full identification until responding from spaciousness becomes automatic. Gardening offers another vivid analogy. You don't force a flower to bloom by yanking petals. Instead, provide right effort, watering, fertile soil, weeding to let natural growth flourish. Conditioning here is like weeds competing for nutrients. Reactivity, anger, fear, chokes peace's emergence. Right effort, per the Buddha's path, involves tending the mind's garden. Daily meditation waters awareness. Inquiry removes weed. Like judgments, compassion nurtures kindness. The transcript applies this to emotional patterns. When sadness arises, don't pull it out forcefully. Make space. Observe its roots in past hurts, allowing it to wither naturally. This patient approach counters modern quick-fix culture, where apps or therapy might temporarily trim weeds but leave roots, leading to regrowth. Persistent weeding through awareness uproots them, revealing the garden's inherent beauty, your true nature's peace. Salt in water or dye in fabric from the transcript illustrates unity post-uncovering. Once dissolved, no separation exists. Similarly, conditioning integrates into awareness when seen through, not as enemy but as appearance within the whole. Conditioning isn't bad but temporary obscuration. Uncovering reveals seamless reality. In practice, when lost in worry, mental conditioning, recognize it arising in awareness like a wave in ocean, disturbing the depths. The lost keys under streetlight analogy extends to conditioning's misdirection. Searching externally, achievements, relationships, because light is better, ignoring internal darkness where peace resides. Uncovering involves venturing inward, effortfully at first, but revealing the keys were always there. Modern parallel, social media validation seeks external light, conditioning self-worth to likes. Awareness practices redirect inward, uncovering inherent value. Well water in desert. Kenshu sees the water, but without rope, bucket, practices you can't drink. Conditioning is the barrier. Deep habits like perfectionism blocking access. Persistent effort builds the tools, turning glimpse to sustenance. These analogies highlight contradiction: effort needed, yet effortlessness goal. Transcript resolves. Initial effort undoes conditioning's grip. As uncovered, natural flow emerges. Avoid pitfalls thinking struggle means failure. Its transformations forge. For resilience, apply in challenges. Traffic jam conditioning triggers impatience. Use analogy: observe as passing cloud in sky. Awareness, uncovering peace beneath. Buddhist roots. Nagarjuna's emptiness teachings show conditioning empty of inherent existence. Appearances in awareness, uncovering sees through illusion. Ultimately, analogies guide. Conditioning obscures, effort uncovers, peace reveals as always present. Seeker learns not force but respect tames ox, leading to partnership. Building resilience in daily challenges. As the struggle of the fourth stage in the ox-herding pictures intensifies, with the ox evading capture through its wild dashes and disappearances, the seeker's persistent effort begins to forge a deeper resilience, transforming apparent setbacks into opportunities for growth and stability amid life's inevitable challenges. This stage, as the transcript describes, isn't merely about enduring frustration, but developing what could be called a spiritual immune system, the capacity to meet difficulties without being completely destabilized, allowing the initial glimpse of true nature to take root in everyday reality. Building resilience here means shifting from reactive patterns to responsive presence, where old conditioning loses its automatic grip, and peace becomes accessible even in turmoil. The transcript emphasizes that every moment of noticing you've been caught in mental drama and gently returning to awareness strengthens this resilience, like exercising muscles that eventually support effortless balance. In modern life, where daily challenges, work stress, relationship tensions, health issues often trigger overwhelm, these practices turn vulnerabilities into strengths, fostering a sustainable inner fortitude that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. Resilience building starts with recognizing that setbacks are integral to the process, not signs of failure. The transcript reassures that after a profound Kenshu glimpse, reverting to anxiety or reactivity doesn't invalidate the recognition. It simply highlights the need to develop rope and bucket to draw from the well of awareness consistently. Practically, begin by reframing challenges. When a boss's email sparks defensiveness, pause to observe the emotional surge, note the racing heart or defensive thoughts without immediate action. This pause practice creates a buffer, allowing choice over reaction, gradually shortening the duration of disturbances. Over time, as the transcript notes, periods of struggle become briefer and returns to presence quicker, building emotional endurance like an athlete training for a marathon, where initial fatigue gives way to sustained performance. Daily mindfulness anchors this resilience. Integrate short check-ins throughout the day. Every hour, take 3 conscious breaths, scanning for tension or mental chatter. In challenges like traffic jams symbolizing frustration, use the moment to practice. Feel the impatience arising, label it gently, and redirect to sensory anchors like the steering wheel's texture or distant sounds. This echoes the Buddha's right mindfulness, cultivating a stable presence that holds experiences without being swept away, turning ordinary annoyances into training grounds. For deeper issues, like chronic anxiety from uncertainty, journal post-challenge. What triggered me? How did I return? This reflection reveals patterns such as worry stemming from control needs and tracks progress, reinforcing resilience by highlighting small victories. Body-based practices enhance physical resilience, as conditioning often lodges in the nervous system, chronic stress manifesting as shallow breathing or insomnia. The transcript mentions improved sleep and digestion as tension softens. To build this, incorporate yoga or tai chi, moving mindfully to release stored reactivity. During a heated argument, for instance, notice bodily signals, clenched fists, breathe deeply to soften, shifting from fight or flight to responsive calm. This builds somatic resilience, where the body learns to regulate itself, reducing cortisol spikes and promoting recovery, crucial in high-pressure environments like demanding jobs. Relational challenges offer prime opportunities. When a partner's habits trigger irritation, practice spacious listening, hear them fully without internal commentary, recognizing their behavior as their conditioning, not a personal attack. The transcript highlights how quiet insights on compassion fade in triggers. Resilience grows by consistently choosing empathy, perhaps through loving kindness meditation, extended to difficult people. Over weeks, this fosters relational fortitude, where conflicts become chances to deepen connection rather than erode peace. For mental resilience against rumination, replaying past failures, or fearing future woes, use inquiry. Is this thought true? What am I without it? This, inspired by the transcript's distinction between content and context, detaches from stories, building cognitive flexibility. In professional setbacks, like project failures, observe self-criticism arising, inquire into its roots, perhaps perfectionist conditioning, and return to present tasks, turning defeat into learning. Community support bolsters resilience. Share struggles in groups or with mentors, as the transcript's global listener connection combats isolation. Hearing others' journeys normalizes the struggle, providing encouragement during plateaus. Nutritional and lifestyle analogies apply. Just as balanced diet builds physical immunity, consistent practices nourish spiritual resilience. The transcript's gardening metaphor, patient weeding, reminds that resilience isn't instant. Weeds, patterns, regrow, if not uprooted fully, but steady effort yields fertile soil. Avoid common traps, perfectionism in practice, leading to burnout. Instead, celebrate imperfect returns. The transcript warns of discouragement prompting abandonment. Counter with compassion, treat yourself as a kind teacher would a student. As resilience builds, the ox feels less unmanageable. Challenges arise but don't overwhelm. The seeker, breathless yet fortified, sees the ox pause, hinting at emerging partnership. In essence, building resilience integrates Kenshu into life. Through pauses, mindfulness, inquiry, and compassion, daily challenges become allies, uncovering peace amid chaos. Harmony and flow in awakening. Transitioning to effortless effort and natural presence. As the relentless chase of the fourth stage gives way to a profound partnership in the fifth, the ox herding pictures illustrate a beautiful emergence where the seeker walks alongside the ox, holding the whip and rope lightly, marking the transition to effortless effort and natural presence that characterizes mature spiritual integration. The transcript captures this shift vividly. The ox becomes naturally gentle, allowing the seeker to turn their back without constant vigilance, symbolizing a phase where disciplines once requiring tremendous willpower evolve into spontaneous expressions of one's deepening alignment with true nature. This stage represents the development of right mindfulness in Buddhist teaching, not the strained monitoring of every thought, but a stable, natural quality of presence that sustains itself without ongoing maintenance. If you've persisted in meditation and noticed it shifting from forced restraint to a welcoming homecoming, like sinking into a comfortable chair after a long day, you've tasted this transition. The effort that felt like upstream swimming against personal currents now aligns with downstream flow, supported by the innate awakening seeking to express through your life. Effortless effort emerges as a paradox resolved through experience. The tools of practice, whip and rope remain, but are held casually, used only when distractions threaten, much like a seasoned cyclist who balances intuitively without conscious corrections. The transcript explains this as the difference between learning balance, where every wobble demands attention, and riding freely, enjoying scenery, while the body maintains equilibrium below thought. In practice, this means meditation stops being a chore, "I must sit to stay peaceful," and becomes a natural inclination, refreshing like a shower. Throughout the day, mindfulness arises spontaneously, noticing breath during a walk or presence in conversations without deliberate reminders. This transition doesn't negate effort, but refines it, focusing on removing obstacles to what's already emerging, like clearing debris from a spring to let water flow unimpeded. Natural presence, the hallmark of this stage, manifests as a grounded being that infuses ordinary activities with ease and authenticity. The transcript notes the seeker no longer surveils their practice obsessively, trusting the originally awakened nature that shines like the sun without reminders. This trust reframes spiritual development. No longer bracing against experience, you move with life's rhythm, content in the moment regardless of external flux. In modern contexts, this counters constant vigilance, checking emails compulsively or worrying about perceptions, allowing relaxation into the present, reducing chronic stress. Presence becomes the default during meetings, fully engaged without mental multitasking, in solitude, resting in awareness without needing entertainment. The body's transformation reflects this inner shift. As the transcript describes, chronic tension in shoulders, jaw, or belly softens as the nervous system learns presence over hyper-alertness, leading to deeper breath, better sleep, improved digestion, and fewer illnesses, as if the immune system strengthens from lowered emotional strain. Practically, incorporate gentle movements like stretching or walking mindfully to release stored conditioning, noticing how breath naturally deepens without force, embodying the effortless quality. Emotionally, this stage builds spaciousness. Difficult feelings like anger or sadness arise, but pass like weather in the sky, no longer destabilizing inner peace. The transcript highlights this allows fuller sensitivity, more empathetic, responsive, without numbness. In challenges, such as a loved one's suffering, you're present without overwhelm or fixation urges, holding space from deeper stability. This doesn't make you detached, but more genuinely helpful, responding from wisdom rather than triggered states. Relationships undergo renewal, less defensive. You listen to criticism openly, witness anger without personalization, offer support without depletion. The transcript notes presence makes others feel centered too, fostering authentic connections. Compassion arises naturally, seeing behaviors as arising from suffering, not malice, enabling boundaries from clarity, not fear. Yet, practices persist. As the poem indicates, tools remain though loose. Meditation as thirst, quenching water, not obligatory medicine. Mindfulness as tending a beloved garden, not security monitoring. This stage tempts, assuming completion life easier, peace sustainable. But the transcript warns clinging to this as final can limit further depth. Buddhist parallels. Right livelihood, in profound sense, every action expresses wisdom and love, aligned with awakened nature, without trying to be spiritual. Presence infuses work, parenting, creativity as meditation forms. Transitioning involves patience, initial glimpses of effortlessness amid struggle, gradually dominating. Notice when practice feels natural, celebrate without attachment. For daily challenges, effortless presence means meeting stress with flow. Deadline anxiety arises, but you respond spaciously, trusting inner resources. This stage's beauty, from exhaustion to harmony, effort to ease. The seeker walks with the ox, turning back confidently, embodying trust in natural presence, embodying spontaneity and creative expression. The sixth stage of the ox herding pictures heralds a joyous homecoming, where the seeker mounts the ox and rides slowly homeward, flute in hand, playing a melody that draws others into its harmony, embodying the spontaneity and creative expression that arise when awakening integrates fully into life's flow. As the transcript poetically unfolds, this isn't a triumphant arrival but a natural unfolding. The seeker reaches for a flute they didn't even know they were carrying, and the music emerges unlearned, unpracticed, a spontaneous song of alignment with deepest truth. This stage captures the essence of living from authentic presence, where every action becomes a creative act, free from rigid rules or self-conscious performance. If you've experienced being in the zone, like an athlete where training dissolves into pure flow, or a musician becoming the music itself, you recognize this embodiment. The basketball arcs perfectly, the dancer merges with rhythm, but here it's not limited to peaks, it's the entire approach to existence, playful, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. Spontaneity in this context means responding to each moment with fresh curiosity, unburdened by predetermined expectations or egoic agendas. The transcript draws parallels to children's natural delight, completely absorbed, finding wonder in simplicity without trying to be spiritual. Jesus' call to become like little children points here, not naivety, but recovering unself-conscious openness lost to adult concerns like image management. Yet, this spontaneity is enriched by prior stages' wisdom, the great doubt's humility, footprints' guidance, Kenshu's recognition, struggle's resilience, all culminate in a childlike playfulness tempered by mature understanding. You meet difficulties with lightness, knowing they're not threats to your essence, like waves in the ocean of awareness. In daily life, this manifests as improvising solutions to problems without overthinking, or engaging conversations with genuine listening. Responses arising naturally from presence rather than scripts. Creative expression flourishes as the spontaneous outflow of this embodiment, not confined to arts but permeating all actions. The flute's melody in the story represents this, structured yet free, like music following mathematical rhythms but feeling improvisational in mastery. The transcript notes the seeker plays, and everyone who hears this melody wants to join in, illustrating how authentic living inspires others effortlessly. Creativity becomes fundamental, conversations as opportunities for novel insights, challenges as canvases for innovative responses, ordinary moments as expressions of awakening's unique flavor through your personality. Many at this stage feel drawn to arts, writing, painting, music as outlets, but it's broader. Cooking a meal intuitively, parenting with playful wisdom, or leading a team with inspired flexibility. Embodying this requires trusting the process. Prior effort tamed the ox. Now riding it home means surrendering to flow, where actions arise from wholeness rather than fragmentation. The transcript warns of subtle limitations. Even this joy contains seeds of separation, if identified as spiritual accomplishment. Yet, for now, it's a beautiful integration, life both ordered and spontaneous, like a master chef improvising from deep principle knowledge. Formal practices evolve. Meditation as natural day, start, like stretching upon waking, contemplative reading as friendly conversation, not work. The boundary blurs, livelihood becomes practice, sacred in mundane tasks. In relationships, spontaneity shines. No longer defending inner conflicts, you connect genuinely, offering presence that invites others' authenticity. The transcript describes people drawn to your ease, though unable to pinpoint why your relaxed self reminds them of their potential. Compassion emerges without effort, recognizing shared humanity, making you that friend who heals by being, like children whose play rekindles adult wonder. For modern stresses, this embodiment counters rigidity. Amid deadlines, respond creatively instead of reactively. In uncertainty, embrace playfulness like child's curiosity. The transcript ties to T.S. Eliot's exploration ending where started, knowing it anew, spontaneity recovers this fresh seeing. Buddhist roots. Right livelihood as alignment where actions express love and wisdom spontaneously without trying to be good. Beginner's mind, mastery enabling flexibility, approaching familiar with openness. Practically, cultivate by experimenting. In routines, allow improvisation, cook without recipes, converse without planning. Notice when expression feels forced, return to presence. Journal spontaneous joys, reinforcing trust. This stages temptation, assuming end, but tradition points deeper, where even riding's relationship transcends. For now, the flute's music rises gratefully, ox stepping surely, home as embodied being. The seeker plays under stars, melody stirring hearts, calling journeys. Yet, deeper stirs, player and music perhaps one, embodying spontaneity, life as creative dance, awakening, expressing through you, benefiting all touched, transforming relationships and emotional spaciousness. The fifth and sixth stages of the ox herding pictures, where the ox tames into gentle companionship and the seeker rides home playing a spontaneous flute melody, profoundly transform relationships and cultivate emotional spaciousness, allowing presence to infuse interactions with authenticity, compassion, and resilience. As the transcript illustrates, this integration shifts the seeker's energy. No longer exhausted from internal struggles, they have abundant capacity for genuine connection, becoming more relaxed and present, making others feel comfortable in their own skin. Relationships flourish not through effortful improvement, but as natural extensions of awakened presence, less defensive, more empathetic, with boundaries arising from clarity rather than fear. Emotional spaciousness, the ability to hold feelings without being consumed, emerges as a key fruit. Difficult emotions like anger or sadness arise, but pass like clouds in the sky, no longer threatening inner peace. This doesn't dull sensitivity. Paradoxically, it heightens it, enabling fuller engagement with life's emotional spectrum while remaining anchored in deeper stability. In relationships, this transformation begins with reduced reactivity. Prior stages' struggles tamed the wild ox of patterns, so triggers that once sparked defensiveness now meet with openness. The transcript notes you can listen to criticism without immediate pushback, witness another's anger without taking it personally, or offer support without draining depletion. For instance, a partner's recurring habit leaving dishes in the sink, mirroring everyday irritations, no longer ignites old frustrations. Instead, you respond from presence, perhaps addressing it calmly or letting it go if minor, recognizing it's their conditioning, not a deliberate slight. This fosters mutual growth. Your ease invites their authenticity, creating a cycle where presence begets present. The transcript describes being around such a person as subtly healing. Others can't articulate the change, but feel more centered, like how a child's unself-conscious play reminds adults of forgotten joy. Emotional spaciousness deepens this. Feelings are felt fully, but held loosely, transforming how you navigate interpersonal dynamics. The transcript uses the weather analogy, emotions as patterns moving through awareness's vast sky, intense yet transient, not destabilizing the whole. In practice, when jealousy or hurt arises in a friendship, you acknowledge it without contraction, making space like welcoming a storm knowing it passes. This allows empathy without overwhelm. Supporting a suffering loved one, you're present to their pain without anxiety about fixing it or fear of absorption. Buddhist teaching aligns this with equanimity, one of the Brahma Vihara's balanced mind, holding all experiences equally, neither clinging nor averting. Modern parallels. Amid conflict at work, spaciousness lets you feel frustration, yet respond wisely, turning potential escalations into resolutions. Compassion arises spontaneously, not as cultivated virtue, but as recognition of shared humanity. The transcript emphasizes seeing behaviors as arising from confusion or suffering, making judgment difficult. How condemn when everyone seeks peace, albeit misguidedly. In family dynamics, a relative's criticism, once triggering, now evokes understanding of their insecurities, enabling responses from love. This doesn't mean passivity, boundaries remain, but from wisdom, saying no firmly, yet kindly, without resentment. Relationships become vehicles for awakening, conflicts as opportunities to practice presence, joys as celebrations of connection. For romantic partnerships, Emotional spaciousness revolutionizes intimacy. No longer projecting unmet needs, you connect from wholeness, reducing codependency. The transcript hints at this through trust in original nature. Partners feel seen beyond roles, fostering vulnerability. Sexually or emotionally, presence enhances. Fully attuned without performance anxiety, like the flute's unpracticed melody. Friendships and communities benefit. You become the friend everyone wants to talk to, healing by being. As the transcript echoes T.S. Eliot's return to origins with new eyes. Group settings, work teams, or social gatherings improve. Your non-agenda presence diffuses tensions, encouraging openness. Challenges persist. Old patterns may resurface, but spaciousness shortens their hold. The transcript warns of temptation, assuming this ease is final, but it's a foundation for deeper transcendence. Practically, cultivate through relational mindfulness. In conversations, practice active listening, fully present, noticing urges to interrupt, returning to the speaker. For spaciousness, when emotions surge, use rein, recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. Recognize feeling, allow it, investigate bodily sensations, nurture with kindness. Daily metta extends this. Wish well-being to self and others, softening relational edges. Buddhist ties. Right speech and action express from this space, words and deeds arising wisely, benefiting all. The Bodhisattva, ideal compassion for suffering beings, embodies here, helping without attachment. In modern isolation, this counters digital superficiality. Authentic presence rebuilds deep bonds, reducing loneliness. Amid global stresses, spaciousness enables holding collective pain without burnout, fostering empathy across divides. Ultimately, transforming relationships through spaciousness turns connections into mirrors of awakening, mutual reminders of inherent peace, where love flows naturally, unblocked by conditioning. The role of trust in sustaining inner peace. The transition into the fifth and sixth stages of the ox herding pictures, where the ox tames and the seeker rides home with effortless grace, underscores the pivotal role of trust in sustaining inner peace, shifting from vigilant control to a profound reliance on one's originally awakened nature. As the transcript articulates, this trust emerges as the seeker turns their back to the ox without fear of it wandering, symbolizing a deep confidence that peace isn't something fragile to be guarded, but an inherent quality that persists without constant maintenance. Trust here isn't blind faith, but an experiential knowing. The awareness cultivated through prior struggles reveals itself as reliable, like the sun that shines without needing reminders. In Buddhist terms, this aligns with recognizing the mind's original purity, radiant and complete, allowing practices to evolve from effortful striving to natural expressions, sustaining peace amid life's fluctuations. If you've reached a point where meditation feels like a natural refuge rather than a duty, or where daily challenges no longer erode your calm, you've embodied this trust, sustaining inner peace as a steady undercurrent rather than a fleeting state. Trust sustains peace by reframing the relationship with spiritual development. No longer swimming upstream against conditioning, you sense downstream support from awakening's natural flow. The transcript describes this as trusting the originally awakened nature, where presence doesn't require surveillance checking if you're still peaceful, but arises spontaneously. This counters modern anxiety's hypervigilance, where constant monitoring, e.g., productivity apps or self-tracking, amplifies stress. Trust allows release. Knowing peace is the ground of being, undisturbed by surface ripples. Practically, build this through small acts. After meditation, note moments of natural return to presence during the day, reinforcing confidence in its reliability. Over time, this erodes doubt, sustaining peace like roots anchoring a tree through storms. In emotional realms, trust fosters spaciousness. Believing in your capacity to hold feelings without overwhelm, sustains equanimity. The transcript's weather analogy, emotions as clouds in the sky, relies on trusting the sky's vastness remains untouched. When grief or anger arises, trust lets you observe without contraction, knowing it passes, preventing escalation into suffering. This sustains peace in crises. Amid loss, trust in inherent wholeness allows mourning without despair, transforming pain into a passage rather than a prison. Buddhist parallels. The third noble truth, suffering's end, requires trusting the path works, as footprints promised. Here, it's trusting the integration holds. Relationships benefit immensely. Trust in your peace reduces defensiveness, sustaining harmonious connections. The transcript notes less need to protect against others' emotions. You engage openly, trusting your centeredness won't be lost. In conflicts, like a heated debate mirroring ravine disappearances, trust enables pausing, responding from wisdom, sustaining relational peace. For deeper bonds, trust invites vulnerability, sharing fears without armor, knowing rejection can't shatter core peace. This creates mutual trust. Partners feel safe, as your stability mirrors their potential, sustaining love's flow. Physically, trust manifests in relaxed embodiment. The transcript mentions softening chronic tension, with breath deepening naturally, sleep improving, as the nervous system trusts safety over vigilance. Sustain this through body scans. Lie down, trust sensations to arise and pass without intervention, building somatic confidence that sustains well-being. In health challenges, trust in the body's wisdom beyond fear supports healing, reducing stress amplification. Daily challenges test and build this trust. In work pressures symbolizing high plateaus, trust sustains peace by focusing on present actions, not outcomes. The transcript warns of pitfalls, assuming this trust means abandoning practices, but tools remain lightly held, used as needed. Trust doesn't eliminate effort, but refines it, focusing on obstacle removal. Buddhist insight. Faith, siddha, as trust in the Dharma, sustains the path, like stream entries guarantee. The ox gentle trust allows turning away, knowing it won't stray. Practically, cultivate daily affirmations. I trust my natural presence. Reflect evenings on trust, sustained moments, reinforcing it. In uncertainty, trust the unknown holds peace, sustaining calm. This role of trust, from struggle's exhaustion to flow's ease, sustaining peace as reliable foundation. The seeker, back-turned confidently, embodies this peace sustained not by force, but faith in its inherent shine. Yet, even this beautiful sustainment contains subtle bondage if clung to as final. Deeper stages beckon, transcending trust's duality. Trust, thus, is the quiet guardian sustaining inner peace, allowing life's melody to play unhindered. Integrating practice into ordinary routines. In the fifth and sixth stages of the ox herding pictures, where the ox becomes a gentle companion and the seeker rides home playing a flute with effortless spontaneity, the integration of spiritual practice into ordinary routines emerges as a hallmark of sustained awakening, transforming daily life into a seamless expression of presence and wisdom. As the transcript beautifully conveys, the whip and rope tools of discipline are still present, but held lightly, used only when distractions arise, while practices like meditation evolve from structured tasks into natural rhythms, akin to drinking water when thirsty or tending a beloved garden. This stage reflects the blurring of boundaries between spiritual and mundane, where every routine activity, work, chores, conversations, becomes a vehicle for deepening awareness, embodying what the transcript calls livelihood as practice. If you found mindfulness arising effortlessly during mundane tasks, like feeling fully present while washing dishes or engaged in a meeting, you're integrating practice into routines, living from the peace glimpsed earlier without needing special conditions. Integration begins with redefining practice, no longer confined to formal sessions. It infuses daily routines, sustaining the effortless effort of prior stages. The transcript emphasizes that meditation at this stage feels like a natural day start, not a technique, while mindfulness becomes like breathing, automatic, yet enriching. Practically, embed micro-practices into routines. Begin mornings with 5 conscious breaths, noting sensations without agenda, setting a tone of presence. During commutes, turn waiting, e.g., at traffic lights, into mindfulness. Feel the seat, hear sounds, grounding in now. These align with the Buddhist concept of right mindfulness, where presence stabilizes without constant effort, like a cyclist riding freely after mastering balance. Household chores offer rich integration opportunities. Washing dishes, as the transcript suggests, becomes meditation on water's warmth and motion's rhythm, fostering gratitude for simplicity. While folding laundry, synchronize movements with breath, noticing textures, turning routine into mindful flow. This counters modern multitasking, rushing through tasks while distracted by screens, reclaiming routines as sacred. The transcript's analogy of clearing debris from a spring applies. Routines aren't forced into spirituality, they naturally express it when obstacles, distraction, hurry, are removed. Work routines transform profoundly. Whether teaching, coding, or parenting, approach tasks with full attention, as if each is meditation. The transcript notes livelihood as practice, every action aligned with awakened nature. For desk jobs, pause hourly to check posture and breath, realigning with presence. In service roles, treat each interaction as meeting the divine, infusing care without depletion. Challenges like deadlines mirror the ox's occasional wanderings. Use the light whip of awareness, note stress, return to task, maintaining flow. This sustains peace amid pressure, reducing burnout prevalent in modern work cultures. Relationships integrate practice naturally. Conversations become mindfulness exercises, listening fully without planning responses. The transcript highlights presence, making others feel authentic. Practice this by noting when mind wanders during talks, gently returning to the speaker. Family dinners offer practice. Engage without devices, savoring food and connection, embodying gratitude. Conflicts, like sibling arguments, become opportunities. Pause, observe reactive urges, respond from spaciousness, turning routines into growth. Physical routines support integration. Exercise, walking, yoga becomes mindful movement, syncing breath with steps, releasing tension noted in the transcript, softening of chronic stress. Sleep routines enhance. Before bed, reflect on moments of presence, not to evaluate but appreciate, calming the nervous system for restful sleep, aligning with improved well-being described. For emotional integration, weave compassion into routines. During morning coffee, silently wish well-being to self and others, setting an empathetic tone. When irritation arises in routines, e.g., delayed trains, practice rain, recognize, allow, investigate, nurture, holding feelings spaciously, sustaining emotional resilience. Avoid pitfalls. The transcript warns of assuming this integration is the path's end, risking stagnation. Practices persist, not out of need but love, like tending a garden for joy. Another trap, overcomplicating, counters simplicity. Keep practices minimal, embedded naturally. Buddhist ties. Right livelihood as living aligned, every routine sacred when met with awareness. The bodhisattva path, serving others, manifests in routine kindness, from smiling at strangers to patient listening. In modern contexts, integration counters digital overload. Routines grounded in presence reduce anxiety from constant connectivity. Amid global uncertainty, daily anchors sustain inner stability, enabling contribution without exhaustion. Practically, create routine anchors. Post-it reminders for breaths or app alerts for check-ins. Weekly reflect which routines felt alive. Adjust others, ensuring flow. This integration, from effort to expression, routines as awakening's canvas. The seeker rides, flute playing, home not a place but embodied presence. Ultimately, ordinary routines become extraordinary. Each task, interaction, moment, a dance of awareness, sustaining peace effortlessly, resting in true nature without separation. The journey through the ox-herding pictures reaches a pinnacle of profound simplicity in the seventh stage, where the seeker and the ox finally come to complete rest in the dawn light, embodying the ultimate resting in true nature without any sense of separation or striving. As the transcript eloquently describes, this isn't a distant spiritual realm or elevated state, but the recognition that home is what you are, always have been peace as the ground of being, not a destination to attain. The ancient poem captures this serenity. Astride the ox, I reach home. I am serene. The ox too can rest. The dawn has come. Here, both seeker and ox are utterly still, the whip and rope symbols of effort and discipline set aside, no longer needed, because the very idea of needing to become someone or go somewhere dissolves as a fundamental misunderstanding. If you've ever obsessed over a problem only to realize it wasn't a problem at all, suddenly dropping the worry, you've glimpsed this rest. All seeking, practices, and teachings weren't acquiring something missing, but removing obstacles to what was always present, like touching glasses already on your head after frantic searching. Resting in true nature means acknowledging the illusion of separation between the seeker, everyday mind, and the sought, peaceful essence. They were never apart. The transcript emphasizes this as non-attachment in its deepest sense, not emotional numbness, but seeing that clinging to anything, even enlightenment or spiritual experiences, creates subtle suffering. As long as there's a someone maintaining awakening, duality persists. True rest emerges when even that subtle effort releases, revealing seamless reality. The Buddha's teaching parallels this. The root of suffering is desire for experience to be different. Here, you recognize the one who desires as a construction within experience itself. Challenges remain, emotions flow, life varies but none threaten fundamental okayness, like waves unable to harm the ocean. This rest reframes the entire path. Prior confusion, glimpses, struggles weren't mistakes but necessary to exhaust external seeking, leading to this intimate recognition. The transcript notes the German mystic Meister Eckhart's insight. God must pour himself into those who have abandoned themselves to the ground of their being. By stopping management of life or spiritual ambition, divine or Buddha nature awareness expresses unobstructed, not achievement, but non-interference with what's always flowing, often undramatic. Sitting, the sitter dissolves into pure sitting. Walking, just walking without walker. Body-mind becomes transparent, a clean window, unnoticed, world as appearance in the same awareness you are. Subject-object distinctions function practically, but aren't fundamental, like longitude lines, aiding navigation without dividing Earth. This enlightenment without an enlightened person yields clarity, compassion, joy without possessor, like sunlight illuminating without claiming objects. The transcript warns of terror alongside liberation. Identity built on seeking crumbles, what remains when no longer trying to become. Yet, this void is freedom from roles, stories, ambitions. Buddhist non-attachment. Clinging to nothing can become identity, as Zen Master Joshua's cast it away to a student with nothing. Even absence of striving attaches if held. Resting avoids this by releasing all, including release peace as choiceless awareness. In modern life, this sustains amid chaos, traffic or deadlines. Rest in awareness, holding annoyance without disturbance. Relationships. Connect without needing validation, sustaining intimacy from wholeness. Practically, invite this rest by simplifying. Sit without goal. Let seeking drop. Notice what's left, awareness itself. No force. Allow merging of senses into gate of unity. The transcript story, seeker sets tools down as practices feel unnecessary, not wrong, but outgrown when practitioner and practiced unify. This stage's beauty. History reframed mistakes, losses as awareness exploring forgetfulness. Compassion arises objectless, all beings as consciousness temporarily veiled. Yet, even this profound rest seeds transcendence, dwelling in enlightenment, subtly dualistic. Tradition notes early versions ended here, but Kaku and Saw-stopping misses form emptiness unity. For now, Seeker rests in homecoming joy, knowing home always here, now. Dawn strengthens, tools forgotten in grass. Resting without separation, true nature as intimate reality, beyond seeking, finding. The transcript closes, something beyond both stirs, categories dissolving into simplicity. This recognition, peace not state but essence, sustaining all, dissolving into no thing and pure being. The eighth stage of the ox-herding pictures plunges into a realm beyond form and concept, where the seeker, the ox, the journey itself, dissolve into what the ancient poem calls no thing, not a void of absence, but the vast, pregnant fullness of pure being that underlies all existence. As the transcript profoundly explores, this isn't nothingness as empty space, but no thing as undifferentiated awareness without boundaries, forms, or content, a dissolution so complete that even the most refined spiritual experiences fade into seamless reality. Imagine standing at the ocean's edge at night, self-merging with stars, water, infinite expanse, or in deep meditation, the sense of someone sitting evaporating, leaving only awareness without center or edges. These glimpses point to Buddhist emptiness, sunyata, not barren void, but the boundless source from which all arises and returns, like silence enabling music or space allowing words meaning. The poem evokes this beautifully. This heaven is so vast, no message can stain it. How may a snowflake exist in a raging fire? Pure being's immensity remains unmarked by experiences, however profound joy, pain, enlightenment itself appear within it, made of it, unable to alter its essence. Clouds can't stain sky, waves can't damage ocean. Similarly, thoughts, emotions, sensations arise in awareness, composed of awareness. This direct recognition often dawns ordinarily. Washing dishes, doer dissolves into doing, warm water and awareness one. Walking, no walker, just walking in vast presence. The snowflake of identity melts in pure being's fire, revealing what always was unborn awareness before names, preferences, identities formed. This dissolution reveals deepest self. Beneath layers, before parents' birth, pure awareness constant through changes, looking through your 3-year-old eyes, present at death, unchanging amid circumstances. The transcript ties to footprints of the ancestors, Buddha's Bodhi awakening, Christ's desert realization, mystics' insights, all touch this timeless, placeless place, shared across history. Not personal achievement but universal reality, recognized when attention shifts from content to the awareness holding it, like forgetting the movie screen in absorption, yet screen present always. Profound yet practical, this recognition liberates from fear, anxiety, loss. Failure can't damage untouchable nature, like clouds harmless to sky. It brings absolute safety, trusting awareness remains undisturbed. However, initial cosmic loneliness may arise. If vast awareness wears personality, relationships, everything meaningful seems illusory. The transcript warns premature reaching can destabilize. Preparation through prior stages grounds it. Crucially, emptiness is infinite fullness, pregnant with creative potential, source of all experiences, thoughts, connections, nothing lost, everything more intimate arising from, returning to this. Nagarjuna cautions, clinging to form, helped by emptiness, but clinging to emptiness incurable. Making I am the void another ego, or using it to bypass life, dismissing relationships as empty. Avoiding engagement creates detached hiding, not freedom. Transcript stresses true freedom, integrates form and emptiness, not escaping to formless. This stage as spiritual halfway house. Early Ox versions ended here, but Kaku and recognized missing essential form, emptiness, oneness. Emptiness reveals unborn, undying nature, freeing from threat, fear, but awakening embraces embodied existence fully. In meditation, dissolution feels like listener, listening, music, merging seamlessly. Dreams or synchronicities may evoke this random yet pointing to vastness. Daily, notice awareness in routine, dissolving separation. Buddhist philosophy. Nagarjuna's form is emptiness. Emptiness form, appearances empty of inherent existence, interdependent arisings in awareness. Recognizing this ends grasping, sustaining liberation. Practically, invite dissolution. Sit, let I sense, drop, rest in bare awareness. No goal, allow, no things fire to consume constructs. The transcript's raging fire dissolves snowflake, but reveals source birthing new ones endlessly. Seeker, ox, path vanish into silence beyond silence, yet within, something stirs, emptiness, fullness, inseparability, unfolding next. This dissolution, ultimate transcendence, self as pure being, intimate beyond intimacy, yet not dwelling forever, return to world awaits, enriched. Pure being's embrace, all as expression of this no thing, wondrous, mysterious. Transcript closes. Vast no, nothingness, new emergence begins. Dissolving into no thing, freedom's essence, where being shines unobscured, navigating the vastness beyond identity. The eighth stage of the ox-herding pictures, with its dissolution into no thing and pure being, invites a delicate navigation of the vastness that lies beyond personal identity, where the sense of self as a separate entity evaporates, leaving an expansive awareness that can feel both liberating and disorienting in its boundlessness. As the transcript delves into this profound shift, the seeker experiences a cosmic expanse where even the most cherished aspects of individuality, personality, memories, roles reveal themselves as transient appearances within the unborn awareness, akin to standing at the ocean's edge and feeling the self merge into endless horizons of stars and water. This vastness isn't a blank slate, but the underlying fullness from which all forms emerge, requiring skillful navigation to avoid the pitfalls of alienation or spiritual bypassing, while embracing the freedom from fear and limitation. If you've had moments in meditation where the I dissolves, leaving only pure perceiving without a perceiver, or in nature where boundaries between you and the world blur, you've touched this navigation, balancing the awe of infinity with the grounding of human experience. Navigating this vastness begins with understanding its dual nature. Profound relief in discovering your deepest essence is untouchable by life's vicissitudes, yet an initial unsettling as egoic structures crumble. The transcript describes this as a potential cosmic loneliness. If you are undifferentiated awareness, what becomes of relationships, creativity, or daily purpose? Everything once anchored in me seems adrift, but this is transitional. The vastness is pregnant with potential, not devoid. Buddhist teaching on emptiness, sunyata, guides here, not nihilistic void but interdependent reality, where forms arise empty of independent existence, interdependent and fluid. Navigation involves recognizing this interdependence. The self wasn't solid to begin with, but a collection of changing conditions, thoughts, sensations, roles, all appearing in vast awareness. This frees from identity's burdens, fear of loss, need for validation, sustaining liberation without disconnection. A key navigation tool is grounding in the body. Amid vastness's abstractness, return to physical sensations, breath, heartbeat, feet on ground, to anchor the experience, preventing dissociation. The transcript warns of using emptiness to avoid life. If all is empty, why engage? Leading to bypassing where emotions or responsibilities are dismissed as illusory. Instead, navigate by integrating. Feel the vastness while fully participating in form, like sky holding clouds without rejection. Practically, after meditation evoking dissolution, stand and walk mindfully, noting how vast awareness moves through the body, bridging no thing with doing. Emotional navigation requires compassion for the ego's dissolution. Grief may arise for lost identities, e.g., successful professional or spiritual seeker, but treat it kindly, as waves in the ocean. The transcript snowflake melting in fire analogy helps. Identity dissolves, but essence remains, warmer, freer. When loneliness surges, inquire, who feels lonely? Revealing the feeling arises in the same vastness, without separate sufferer. This sustains equanimity, navigating beyond attachment to enlightened states. Relational navigation transforms interactions. Beyond identity, connect from shared essence, seeing others as expressions of the same awareness. The transcript notes recognizing Buddha nature in all, regardless of behavior, sitting with wine bibbers or butchers, all potential Buddhas. Navigate by listening without self-reference, offering presence that awakens others' vastness. In conflicts, vastness allows holding opposing views without threat to self, fostering resolution from non-dual perspective. Daily challenges become navigation practice. Amid stress like deadlines, feel the vastness holding pressure, navigating from spacious response rather than contracted reaction. The transcript cautions against clinging to emptiness as identity. I am the void, the subtlest ego. Navigate by releasing even that, as Joshua's cast it away. Buddhist wisdom. Nagarjuna's warning, clinging to emptiness beyond help, guides navigation toward middle way, integrating with form. Ancestors' footprints, all touched this vastness, navigating back to world enriched. Practically, journal post, dissolution experiences, noting disorientation and insights. Grounding with nature walks, feel vast sky mirroring inner expanse. Community, share with teachers to navigate pitfalls. This navigation, from dissolution's fire to integrated freedom, vastness as home, not exile. Transcript, fire reveals source, birthing new forms endlessly. Navigating beyond identity, embracing vastness's gifts, fearlessness, creativity, while honoring human fullness, preparing return to ordinary sacredness. Avoiding pitfalls of clinging to emptiness. The profound dissolution into no thing and pure being in the 8th stage of the ox-herding pictures, while offering unparalleled freedom and insight, comes with subtle pitfalls that must be navigated carefully to prevent the recognition of emptiness from becoming another form of bondage or evasion. As the transcript wisely cautions, drawing from the great Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna, those who cling to form can be guided toward emptiness, but those who cling to emptiness are beyond all help, highlighting how this vast recognition can morph into the most insidious spiritual ego, if not approached with humility and integration. Emptiness, or sunyata, is not a state to possess or an achievement to boast about. It's the fundamental nature of reality, pregnant fullness, underlying all appearances, and clinging to it as my realization, or using it to dismiss the richness of human experience, creates a detached, hollow existence rather than genuine liberation. If you've encountered spiritual teachings and felt tempted to declare everything is empty, so nothing matters, only to find it leads to apathy or isolation, you've brushed against these pitfalls, underscoring the need for balanced navigation that honors both the formless and the formed. One primary pitfall is transforming emptiness into a new identity, where the ego subtly appropriates the recognition, I am the void, I have realized ultimate truth, or I dwell in pure awareness. The transcript emphasizes this as the most persistent form of spiritual pride, even more challenging because it's cloaked in profound insight. Nagarjuna's warning points to how emptiness, meant to free from clinging, becomes clung to another concept to defend, leading to superiority or disconnection from others still trapped in illusion. Navigation requires ongoing humility. Recognize even this vastness as beyond personal ownership, like the sky not claiming the clouds it holds. Practically, when thoughts of "I've got it" arise post-meditation, inquire gently, who claims this, dissolving the claimer back into the no thing, preventing solidification. Another danger is spiritual bypassing, using emptiness to avoid the fullness of embodied life and its challenges. The transcript notes, it's possible to rationalize disengagement if all is empty. Why bother with relationships, work, or emotions, creating a pseudo-wise detachment that hides from vulnerability? This evades the human spectrum. Joy, sorrow, connection, creativity, all expressions of the same emptiness. True navigation integrates. Emptiness reveals forms as empty, but also emptiness as form interdependent, not to be rejected. In daily practice, when tempted to dismiss pain, e.g., grief as just illusion, allow feeling fully while holding it in vast awareness, navigating the middle way where emptiness enhances engagement, not escapes it. The Buddha's path exemplifies this. Post-awakening, he taught for 45 years, engaging suffering beings, not retreating into formless bliss. Clinging can manifest as cynicism or nihilism, where emptiness's vastness leads to nothing matters, eroding motivation for ethical living or service. The transcript counters this. Emptiness is infinite fullness, creative potential birthing all. Dismissing it negates the wonder of existence. Navigate by recalling ancestors' footprints. Buddha, Christ, mystics navigated vastness back to compassionate action, recognizing all as sacred expressions. Practically, balance dissolution meditations with grounded activities. After sensing no thing, journal how it enriches routines, preventing abstraction. Emotional pitfalls include using emptiness to numb. In relationships, claiming it's all empty to avoid intimacy's risks, leading to loneliness. The transcript's cosmic loneliness is transitional. Navigate by embracing interdependent self and other as awareness playing roles. In conflicts, hold vastness while addressing issues humanly, avoiding bypass. Intellectual clinging, debating emptiness philosophically without embodiment, turning it into mental construct. Transcript warns paradoxes. Point, not explain. Ox metaphors evoke, not contain. Navigate through direct experience. When conceptualizing, return to breath, dissolving thinker into being. For modern seekers, pitfalls amplify via social media posting emptiness, realizations for validation, reinforcing ego. Navigate mindfully, share from service, not acclaim. In therapy or self-help, avoid using emptiness to skip psychological work. Integrate with shadow exploration. Buddhist safeguards. Middle way avoids extremes, clinging to form or nothingness. Kakuan, extended stages beyond emptiness, recognizing need for return to form emptiness unity. Practically, detect clinging, notice superiority, disengagement, or apathy. Counter with metta, extend compassion to all, grounding vastness in heart. Weekly reflect, how has emptiness enriched engagement? Adjust if bypassing emerges. Navigation's beauty. Avoiding pitfalls deepens freedom, emptiness as ally, not trap. Transcript. Fire dissolves but births anew. Navigate to embrace both. Avoiding clinging ensures emptiness liberates fully, preparing sacred ordinary return. Recognizing unity in all experiences. The culmination of the 8th stage in the ox herding pictures, with its dissolution into no thing and pure being, leads to the profound recognition of unity in all experiences, where the apparent distinctions between form and emptiness, self and other, ordinary and ultimate, reveal themselves as inseparable expressions of the same fundamental reality. As the transcript illuminates, this isn't an abstract philosophical conclusion, but a direct insight that reframes every aspect of existence. The flowing river, blooming flowers, sounds of birds, even the breath moving in and out, all are manifestations of the vast awareness that you are, without division or hierarchy. The ancient teaching of form is emptiness. Emptiness is form from the heart. Sutra becomes vividly alive here, showing that the world doesn't disappear in emptiness but is recognized as its dynamic play, like waves inseparable from the ocean they comprise. If you've ever listened to music and felt the listener, listening, and melody merge into one flow, or witnessed a sunset where the boundary between observer and observed dissolves into shared beauty, you've touched this unity. All experiences, joyful or painful, sacred or mundane, arise within and as the same undivided consciousness. Recognizing this unity transforms perception. Conflicts between opposites, inner, outer, awakened, unawakened, conditioned, unconditioned, prove to be conceptual illusions, not inherent truths. The transcript explains that awareness doesn't battle thoughts. Thoughts simply appear and vanish within it, like clouds traversing the sky without opposition. Peace doesn't combat disturbance. Disturbance emerges and subsides in the same peace that remains untouched. This insight uproots suffering's cause, the illusion of a separate self-wanting experiences to differ. When the wanter is seen as another arising within experience, problems persist but lose power over well-being. Challenges become invitations to deeper recognition rather than threats. In daily life, this means greeting anxiety not as enemy, but as energy appearing in unity's field, allowing it to pass without added narrative, fostering natural resolution. Unity's recognition extends to relationships and interconnectedness. Seeing others as expressions of the same awareness dissolves isolation, fostering innate compassion. The transcript notes the footprints of the ancestors as shared recognition of this placeless place, Buddha's enlightenment, mystics' unions, all pointing to universal essence. Navigate by viewing strangers, friends, even adversaries as mirrors, their joys and sufferings your own, in essence. Practically, in conversations, listen from this unity words arising in shared awareness, reducing judgment, enhancing empathy. Conflicts, like family disputes, become opportunities, hold opposing views in vastness, responding from wholeness that includes both sides. Emotionally, unity integrates the full spectrum, joy and sorrow, love and fear, all equal waves in awareness's ocean, without preference. The transcript's raging fire, melting snowflake, reveals not destruction but return to source emotions, dissolve back into pure being, their energy recycled. This avoids numbness. Instead, experiences intensify in vividness, felt deeply yet held lightly, like tasting food more fully when present. In grief, recognize it as unity, exploring separation. In ecstasy, as celebrating oneness. This sustains equanimity, no experience privileged, all part of the dance. Physically, unity manifests in transparency, body as appearance in awareness, not separate vessel. The transcript describes body-mind as clean window, unnoticed. Sensations, pain, pleasure arise without owner. In illness or aging, recognize form's impermanence as emptiness is play, reducing fear, navigating with acceptance. Practices like body scans dissolve separation, feel sensations arising in vastness, unity of perceiver and perceived. Intellectually, unity resolves paradoxes, how awareness both intimate, closer than thoughts, and vast, encompassing universe. Like ox and seeker, merging distinctions useful but not absolute. Transcript saltwater, dye fabric analogies, once merged, no boundary. Experiences and awareness, one. In modern challenges, unity offers practical refuge. Amid division, politics, social media, recognize all viewpoints as awareness's expressions, navigating with compassion over polarization. Work stress, tasks as form in emptiness, reducing attachment to outcomes. Environmental concerns, see nature, humanity, unity, inspiring action from interconnectedness. Pitfalls, intellectualizing unity without embodiment, talking oneness while acting divided. Transcript warns early endings at emptiness, miss integration. Navigate by living it, treat daily experiences as sacred unity manifestations. Buddhist depth. Heart Sutra's form is emptiness. Demands recognition in all sufferings. Emptiness frees, but form's emptiness calls engagement. Middle way, neither clinging to form nor void. Practically, daily unity meditation. Note experience arising in awareness, no separation. Journal. How did unity appear today? In routines, pause, feel breath as universe breathing through you. This recognition, all experiences unified in awareness. Wondrous tapestry. Transcript. Vast heaven unstained, yet birthing endless forms. Recognizing unity, liberates fully, preparing return where ordinary blooms sacred. Rediscovering the sacred in the ordinary. The ninth stage of the ox-herding pictures unveils a transformative return to the familiar world, where the seeker, having dissolved into the vastness of no thing, rediscovers the ordinary rivers, flowers, sunlight, not as mundane, but as sacred expressions of the same ultimate reality recognized in emptiness. As the transcript poetically articulates, this stage isn't a regretful backtracking, but a gentle laughter of recognition, akin to finding car keys in the first place you looked after searching elsewhere. Too many steps have been taken returning to the root and the source. Better to have been blind and deaf from the beginning. The ordinary world reappears unchanged yet utterly transformed. Rivers flow. Flowers bloom in brilliant red, as always, but now seen with eyes that perceive their inherent divinity, embodying the Buddhist truth that form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. If you've revisited a childhood place and seen familiar sights with new wonder, or found profound peace in routine tasks like drinking tea, you've touched this rediscovery. The sacred isn't elsewhere, but in the simplicity of here and now, revealed through awakened perception. This stage reframes the entire journey. The desperate search of the great doubt, the glimpses, struggles, and dissolution all lead back to where you started, but with vision that knows the place for the first time. As T.S. Eliot's words in the transcript suggest, the ordinary becomes sacred not because it changes, but because you see its essence every moment, object, interaction, as an expression of the vast awareness you are. Washing dishes transforms into a meditation on water's miracle, its warmth and flow, a dance of existence. Paying bills becomes gratitude for interconnected systems sustaining life. Conversations with friends turn into encounters with the divine playing through human forms. This counters modern life's rush, where routines are dismissed as trivial, urging constant pursuit of more. The transcript's river and flowers, unchanged yet radiant, teach that peace isn't in exotic experiences, but in the present's infinite depth. Buddhist wisdom underpins this. The Heart Sutra's unity of form and emptiness means the ordinary isn't separate from ultimate reality. It is that reality, expressing itself in countless ways. The transcript's dwelling in one's true abode, unconcerned with and without, reflects unconditional okayness. No need to monitor experiences for spiritual enough quality, as every moment is complete. This aligns with the Buddha's teaching that the mystery isn't a puzzle to solve, but existence's nature infinitely wondrous, simple, ungraspable by the thinking mind. Questions like, how does consciousness arise? Or, how does love emerge? Aren't for answering but for marveling, pointing to the sacred in daily life's texture. Practically, Rediscover this by pausing in routines. Sip coffee slowly, noting taste as awarenesses play. Walk noticing breeze or birdsong, each a sacred note. The transcript suggests stopping to watch clouds or water over rocks, not seeking insights but enjoying existence's creativity. Journal daily. What ordinary moment felt sacred today? A child's laugh, sunlight on skin, training eyes to see divinity in the familiar. Relationships become sacred mirrors, a cashier's smile or a colleague's struggle, all expressions of shared essence. Engage without agenda, listening fully, seeing Buddha nature in each, as the transcript's later stages suggest. Challenges like delays or conflicts traffic, arguments become sacred. Hold irritation in awareness, seeing it as forms dance, transforming frustration into wonder. Emotionally, this stage embraces all, joy, sorrow, as equal expressions, no hierarchy. Grief over loss, once a threat, now sacred as love's form. Happiness in small victories, a celebration of being. This avoids detachment, deepening engagement, like the Buddha returning to teach, not retreating. Modern application counters alienation. Digital overload fragments presence. Pausing to feel breath or hear rain restores sacredness, reducing stress. Amid global crises, see interconnectedness, humanity, nature as one motivating action from unity, not division. Pitfalls. Intellectualizing sacredness without living it, admiring concepts but rushing routines. Navigate by grounding, embody presence in tasks. Transcript warns prior endings missed this return. Integration key. Buddhist practice. Mindfulness as appreciation, not achievement. Meditation as sunset, gazing, celebrating awareness. Community reflects sacredness. Share moments of ordinary wonder, reinforcing recognition. This rediscovery, ordinary as sacred, home never elsewhere. Transcript. River tranquil, flowers red source, always here, now. Rediscovering sacredness. Life's every moment, a divine expression, awakening's fulfillment in simplicity, living authentically without pretense. The 10th stage of the ox-herding pictures culminates in a radical embodiment of awakening, where the seeker returns to society barefooted and naked of breast, mingling with people without any pretense or need to project a spiritual image, living authentically as a fully human being whose presence naturally inspires others. As the transcript vividly paints, this isn't the exalted figure in sacred robes, but someone ordinary in appearance, ragged clothes, dust-laden, blissful in simplicity, yet carrying an unassuming joy that awakens authenticity in those around them. Barefooted and naked of breast symbolizes profound vulnerability and genuineness. No masks, no roles, no agenda to impress or convince, just complete comfort in one's skin, like a child who hasn't learned self-consciousness. If you've met someone whose lack of pretense made you drop your own defenses, feeling free to be yourself without judgment, you've witnessed this living authenticity as the ultimate gift, turning everyday interactions into moments of mutual liberation. Living without pretense means shedding all facades, spiritual, social, or personal, that once shielded vulnerabilities, allowing true nature to express unfiltered. The transcript emphasizes this as becoming completely at ease with who you really are, no longer hiding behind achievements, titles, or even enlightened personas. In modern life, where social media curates perfect images and work demands performance, this authenticity counters exhaustion from constant role-playing. Instead, you interact with uncalculated honesty, admitting uncertainties in conversations, laughing at mistakes without embarrassment, expressing needs without manipulation. This fosters deep connections. People sense your genuineness, responding in kind, creating relationships built on truth rather than illusion. Authenticity arises from trusting the peace discovered in prior stages. No need to prove spirituality, because awakening is lived, not performed. The transcript warns of earlier temptations, pride in mastery, but here, even that dissolves. You're neither teacher nor student, just yourself. Jesus' call to become like children echoes, innocent openness, curiosity without status concerns. Yet, enriched by the journey's wisdom, this isn't naive, it's mature playfulness, meeting life with lightness while holding depth. In routines, live this by dropping should, eat what nourishes without diet trends, work from passion without image, maintenance, rest without guilt. Without pretense, actions flow from inner alignment, not external validation. The transcript's barefooted seeker mingles with all wine bibbers, butchers converting them into Buddhas by presence alone, illustrating authenticity's contagious power. You become the moon reflecting in water bowls, shining equally on all without intent. Practically, in social settings, speak from heart, share stories vulnerably, listen without advice unless asked, allowing silence comfortably. At work, contribute ideas without ego attachment to credit, fostering collaboration. In family, express love without conditions, dropping roles like perfect parent, inviting real bonds. Emotional authenticity shines, feel and express without filter, yet from spaciousness cry when sad, laugh when joyful, anger when justified, but without clinging. The transcript's ever blissful seeker, amid raggedness, shows joy from being, not circumstances. Navigate by honoring emotions as awareness is play, sharing honestly without drama. This heals. Pretense breeds resentment. Authenticity dissolves it, sustaining emotional health. Physically, live without pretense by honoring body's needs. Move freely, eat intuitively, rest as required, dropping societal beauty standards. The transcript's dust-laden clothes symbolize non-concern for externals' worth from within, not appearance. This reduces stress from image upkeep, improving vitality. Relational impact. Without pretense, you attract genuine connections. Friends value your realness, partners thrive in honesty. The transcript notes, children laugh, strangers smile inexplicably, your presence brightens subtly. In conflicts, authenticity disarms. Admit faults openly, seek understanding without defense, resolving deeper. Pitfalls. Over. Identifying as authentic becomes pretense. Navigate humbly, recognizing ongoing growth. Transcript warns superiority, surround with pure people. Instead, mingle universally, seeing sacred in all. Buddhist roots. Bodhisattva vow, return to world compassionately, without separation. Right livelihood. Actions from genuineness, benefiting without effort. Modern application. Counters inauthenticity in digital age. Filtered lives breed disconnection. Live offline truths, reducing anxiety. Amid polarization, authenticity bridges divides, humanizing interactions. Practically, daily authenticity check, notice pretense moments, e.g. exaggerating stories, drop them gently. Mirror exercise, look, see beyond labels, affirming this is enough. Engage hobbies without performance, purely for joy. This living, authenticity as freedom, pretense shed like old skin. Transcript, barefooted, blissful, dead trees alive by presence. Living without pretense, greatest offering being yourself, world kinder, awake by your example. Natural compassion and teaching through being. The final embodiment of awakening in the 10th stage of the ox-herding pictures manifests as natural compassion and teaching through being, where the seeker's authentic presence, barefooted, ragged, and blissful, effortlessly awakens wisdom in others without words, agendas, or formal instruction. As the transcript illustrates, this stage depicts someone mingling with all walks of life, from wine bibbers to butchers, converting them into Buddhas simply by their way of existing, like a tuning fork vibrating another to the same frequency. Natural compassion arises not as a cultivated virtue or moral obligation, but as the spontaneous expression of recognizing shared essence in every being. Everyone is doing their best from their current understanding, all seeking peace amid confusion. If you've been around someone whose quiet kindness reminded you of your own inner goodness without them saying a word, or whose presence dissolved your tensions like sunlight melting fog, you've experienced this teaching, compassion, as contagious energy flowing from the awakened heart to touch and transform those nearby. Natural compassion emerges from the profound unity realized in earlier stages, seeing others as expressions of the same awareness, their struggles merely temporary veils over inherent Buddha nature. The transcript emphasizes this as unconditional acceptance. Judgment becomes impossible when behaviors are viewed as arising from suffering or ignorance, not malice. In daily encounters, this means responding to a rude stranger with understanding of their possible bad day, or supporting a friend's mistake without criticism, recognizing it as part of their growth. This doesn't imply passivity or lack of boundaries. Compassion includes firm action when needed, but from love rather than anger, like a parent guiding a child with patience. The Buddha's life exemplifies this. After enlightenment, he taught compassionately for decades, meeting people where they were, his presence alone inspiring change. Teaching through being is the subtle art of embodying awakening so fully that your presence becomes the lesson, without need for lectures or charisma. The transcript quotes Chogyam Trungpa. Its action is like the moon reflecting in 100 bowls of water. The moon has no desire to reflect, but that is its nature. You shine equally on all palace or dump, saint or sinner, offering presence that awakens others' potential effortlessly. In practice, this means living without agenda. At work, your calm amid chaos inspires colleagues to center themselves. In family, your non-judgmental listening encourages openness. People comment on feeling different around you, relaxed, authentic though unable to pinpoint why, as your lack of pretense gives permission for their true selves to emerge. This teaching heals souls, as Dostoevsky noted about being with children. Their innocence rekindles forgotten possibilities. Similarly, your unguard's presence reminds adults of preconditioning freedom. The transcript's dead trees becoming alive by the seeker's passage symbolizes this. Dormant potentials bloom in contact with authenticity. Practically, in social settings, simply listen deeply, smile genuinely, share silence comfortably, allowing others to feel seen beyond facades. No need to fix or advise. Your being demonstrates peace is possible, teaching by example that awakening isn't exotic but accessible in ordinary humanity. Natural compassion extends to self. Without self-judgment, you navigate personal flaws with kindness, modeling self-acceptance for others. In challenges, like health issues or losses, compassion sustains resilience, holding your pain tenderly, extending the same to those affected. This creates ripple effects. A compassionate response to a co-worker's error might inspire them to pay it forward, weaving a web of kindness. In modern isolation, this counters superficial connections. Digital interactions lack presence. Teaching through being rebuilds depth, reducing loneliness by fostering genuine bonds. Amid societal divisions, compassion bridges seeing political opponents as fellow seekers, responding with understanding over reactivity. Pitfalls. Compassion becoming performative, another ego mask. Avoid by checking motives, act from heart, not approval. Transcript warns superiority, isolating with awakened circles. Mingle universally, as the seeker does. Buddhist roots, karuna, compassion, as noble quality. Bodhisattva vow to alleviate suffering through embodied presence. Right action, deeds from wisdom, benefiting without attachment. Practically, daily compassion, practice wish well-being silently to passers-by, or pause in conflicts to see shared humanity. Reflect evenings. How did my being teach today? Adjust subtly. This natural compassion teaching as effortless offering, world brighter by your presence. Transcript: barefooted seeker causes smiles, laughter subtle, mysterious awakening. Living this, compassion as being's fragrance, teaching through example, embodying journey's fruit, not escape, but full human flowering. Completing the circle of human fulfillment. The 10th stage of the ox herding pictures brings the spiritual journey full circle, completing the arc of human fulfillment by returning the seeker to ordinary life, not as a lost wanderer, but as a fully integrated being whose authentic presence enriches the world, embodying the ultimate realization that awakening is not an escape from humanity but its deepest expression. As the transcript reflects in its closing reflections, this completion isn't a dramatic finale, but the quiet fruition of all prior stages, from the great doubt's confusion to emptiness's dissolution, revealing that the peace sought was always within and now lived outwardly in service to others. The barefooted, blissful seeker mingling with society symbolizes this circle's closure. The path that began in desperation ends in effortless contribution, where personal fulfillment expands into collective benefit, like a river returning to the ocean only to nourish the land anew. If you've felt a sense of wholeness after years of searching, where daily life feels meaningful and connected, not despite its ordinariness but because of it, you've touched this completion. Human fulfillment as the harmonious integration of inner awakening with outer engagement, closing the loop of existence with gratitude and purpose. Completing the circle means reframing the journey's beginning. The initial loss in tall grass wasn't a flaw but the necessary catalyst. Exhausting false paths to reveal true fulfillment lies in authenticity, compassion, and presence. The transcript's T.S. Eliot quote, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started, and know the place for the first time," captures this. Fulfillment circles back to the ordinary, now known as sacred. This counters modern pursuits of endless achievement, where fulfillment is deferred to future goals. Instead, it's here, in the wholeness of being human, flawed, connected, evolving. The Buddha's life mirrors this. Enlightenment under the tree completed his circle, leading to teaching that fulfilled his purpose in alleviating suffering. Fulfillment's core is integration, inner peace sustaining outer action, without separation. The transcript notes, the seeker's presence causes dead trees to bloom fulfillment as generative force, benefiting others naturally. In practice, this means living where personal growth serves communal good. A teacher's presence inspires curiosity, a parent's compassion nurtures resilience, a friend's authenticity heals isolation. Fulfillment isn't solitary bliss, but shared circle complete when your awakening ripples outward, closing the loop from self-focused search to selfless contribution. Emotionally, fulfillment brings unconditional acceptance, embracing all experiences as part of the circle, without rejection. Joy and sorrow, success and failure, all fuel growth, as the transcript reframes history. Mistakes as awareness, exploring forgetfulness, seeking as wholeness hiding from itself. This sustains emotional wholeness, grief integrated as love's depth, fear as courage's forge, completing fulfillment by honoring humanity's full spectrum. Relationally, the circle completes through natural compassion. Without pretense, connections deepen, fulfilling the human need for belonging. The transcript seeker mingling, universally converting all to Buddhas, shows fulfillment in inclusivity, bridging divides. In modern fragmentation, this heals. Authentic interactions counter superficiality, fulfilling social bonds. Practice by seeing others' fulfillment potential, offering presence that empowers their circles. Physically and mentally, fulfillment manifests in vitality. Transcript's improved health from softened tension reflects this body as temple of awakened spirit, mind clear for creative living. Routines fulfill purpose, work as service, leisure as celebration, completing daily circles with intention. Pitfalls. Mistaking completion for stagnation. Circle implies ongoing motion. Fulfillment evolves, as transcript hints. Path continues beyond 10 stages. Avoid complacency. Reflect regularly. How does my fulfillment serve? Adjust to grow. Buddhist essence. Samsara, nirvana, unity, ordinary life as fulfillment's ground. Bodhisattva path completing through compassionate return. Right view. Seeing all as interdependent, fulfilling existence's interconnected web. Modern relevance. Amid burnout from endless striving, fulfillment circles back to balance. Work, life, harmony, self-care as service foundation. Global issues. Fulfillment motivates action from unity, completing personal circles in collective healing. Practically, daily fulfillment, ritual, evening gratitude for journey's loop, noting contributions, set intentions. How will I complete today's circle? Engage hobbies, serving others, volunteering, mentoring, fulfilling shared growth. This completion, human fulfillment as circles embrace, journey's end birthing new beginnings. Transcript. Seeker barefoot, world awake by presence. Fulfillment in being, giving. Completing the circle, wholeness lived, search transformed into service, humanity fulfilled in awakened ordinary. Practical wisdom for ongoing awakening. As the ox herding pictures conclude in the 10th stage with the seeker's barefoot, blissful return to society, the journey reveals itself as an ongoing process rather than a finite endpoint, offering practical wisdom for sustaining and deepening awakening in the flux of daily life. The transcript's final reflections emphasize that while the circle completes desperation, transforming into effortless being, the path continues, not because something remains missing, but because consciousness delights in endless exploration through human experience. This ongoing awakening isn't about perpetual seeking, but living with openness, where each moment becomes a fresh opportunity for recognition, integration, and contribution. If you felt the initial thrill of insight fade yet discovered ways to rekindle it through simple habits, you've applied this wisdom, awakening as a living practice, evolving with life's rhythms, ensuring the peace uncovered remains vibrant amid change. Practical wisdom here draws from the entire map, doubt as catalyst, glimpses as inspiration, struggles as forging to provide tools for lifelong navigation, fostering resilience, joy, and service without rigid formulas. Begin with daily presence anchors to sustain awareness. Start mornings with a few minutes of simple sitting, not forcing meditation but noticing breath and sensations, as the transcript suggests, beginning each day with presence. This echoes the effortless effort of later stages, no goal-oriented striving, just appreciation for awareness itself. Evening reflections close the day. Review moments of connection or challenge, asking, where did I recognize unity today? Without judgment, reinforcing the sacred in ordinary. These bookends create continuity, preventing drift into old patterns, like the light rope gently guiding the ox. Incorporate micro-practices into routines for seamless integration. During commutes or chores, pause for 3 conscious breaths, grounding in the now, transforming mundane into mindful. The transcript's rediscovery of rivers and flowers as sacred inspires this. Notice beauty in small things, sunlight on leaves, a stranger's smile, as reminders of emptiness. Form, unity. For emotional fluctuations, use noting from mindfulness, label arising feelings, anxiety, joy, without story, allowing passage like weather, building spaciousness to navigate ongoing challenges without overwhelm. Ongoing awakening requires humility and curiosity to avoid stagnation. The transcript warns, assuming any stage final risks limitation. Treat insights as invitations for deeper inquiry. Practically, read spiritual texts weekly, not seeking new knowledge but enjoying truth's resonance, like conversing with old friends. Journal prompts like, what old pattern resurfaced? How did presence shift it? Track evolution, ensuring growth amid life's cycles. Engage communities mindfully. Discuss experiences without preaching, as the seeker's presence teaches through being, fostering mutual awakening. Address setbacks with compassion. When reactivity returns, perhaps in stress mirroring early struggles, view it as opportunity, not failure. The transcript reframes history, all mistakes as awareness exploring. Apply by self, forgiving, using gentle returns to presence, strengthening resilience like awakening muscles. For persistent doubts, revisit the great doubt's blessing. Question assumptions freshly, keeping the path alive. Relational wisdom sustains awakening. Interact authentically, seeing others as fellow travelers, offering compassion without fixing. The transcripts converting all to Buddhas inspires. In conversations, listen from unity, responses arising naturally. Practice metta daily, wish well-being to self, loved ones, difficult people, extending stage 10 compassion, deepening bonds and service. Physical well-being supports ongoing. Nourish body with intuitive eating, movement, rest, as transcripts soften tension, improves health. Yoga or walks, integrate mindfulness, embodying unity of form emptiness, sustaining vitality for long-term awakening. Intellectually, cultivate beginner's mind, approach familiar with curiosity, as transcripts childlike wonder. Read diverse perspectives, avoiding dogma, keeping awakening dynamic. In modern complexities, digital distractions, societal pressures, wisdom counters, limit screen time for presence, use apps mindfully if aiding, e.g. meditation timers, but prioritize direct experience. Amid global uncertainties, act from compassion, volunteer or advocate subtly, fulfilling the circle by contributing without attachment. Pitfalls: over-effort, reverting to early striving, balance with trust in natural flow. Complacency, thinking done, navigate by ongoing reflection. Transcript's path continues, tomorrow reminds. Awakening unfolds endlessly. Buddhist essence: impermanence means ongoing samsara as nirvana's field. Right view: see change as opportunity, sustaining through diligence without force. Practically, weekly, review, adjust practices, celebrate growth, set intentions. Today, open to awakening's next layer. Travel lightly as barefoot seeker, release unneeded, embrace evolving. This wisdom, ongoing awakening as joyful adventure, fulfillment in perpetual unfolding. Transcript: rest in peace, always with you. Journey continues. Ongoing awakening. Practical tools ensuring peace endures. Circle ever, widening in wisdom, compassion, being, embracing the eternal journey of awakening. As we conclude this exploration of the 10 stages of awakening, drawn from the timeless wisdom of the ox-herding pictures and Zen Buddhist teachings, a profound truth emerges. The path to lasting peace and fulfillment is not a distant quest, but an intimate return to your inherent nature, where confusion transforms into clarity, struggle into flow, and seeking into serene being. At its core, this journey reveals that the deep contentment you've longed for amid the stresses of modern life, the restlessness of unfulfilled desires, and the quiet doubts that whisper in the night, has always been within you, waiting to be uncovered rather than created. Through the metaphor of the ox as your true, peaceful self, and the herder as your everyday mind, these stages offer a compassionate map, guiding you from the great doubt's honest awakening to the effortless embodiment of wisdom in ordinary moments. Each step affirms a positive, empowering reality. You are already whole, capable of profound resilience, natural compassion, and creative joy, with every challenge serving as an opportunity to deepen your connection to this unchanging essence. This ancient teaching, alive and relevant today, reminds us that true happiness arises not from external achievements or fleeting distractions, but from recognizing the sacred in the simple, the rhythm of your breath, the warmth of human connection, the wonder of existence itself, by honoring doubt as wisdom's stir, following glimpses of possibility, persevering through integration's efforts, transcending into unity's vastness, and returning to live authentically. You unlock an unshakable inner peace that radiates outward, touching lives with subtle grace. The beauty lies in its accessibility. No special retreats or superhuman feats required, just patient openness to what is already here, now. As you carry these insights forward, may they inspire a life of gentle flow, where awakening continues not as endless striving but as joyful unfolding, enriching your world with authenticity, love, and boundless potential. What you seek has always been seeking. You embrace it, and watch your existence bloom in radiant fulfillment.